Ah, yes, the classic 2-year vacation from reality. It's like they're getting a holiday while the rest of us are just trying to figure out what to do with our sad little lives. You see, in the world of Chinese politics, being sentenced to death is basically the equivalent of getting sent to your room without dessert. Except your room is a maximum security prison, and dessert is never coming back. 2 years gives them plenty of time to contemplate their bad decisions. Like what kind of leadership involves accepting bribes that can fund a small island nation?
What kind of violations did these ministers commit that led to such a severe sentence?
You know, just your everyday run-of-the-mill, serious disciplinary violations. It's like being grounded for a week because you forgot to take out the trash. I mean, in their world, serious violations might involve counting millions in bribes like they're counting sheep to fall asleep. Let's face it, when you're so deep in corruption that you need a lifeguard to save you from drowning in your own greed, the consequences are bound to be a tad more severe than just missing your favorite TV show.
Is there a reason behind the timing of these sentences? Why now?
Well, timing is everything, isn't it? It's like the universe decided to drop this bombshell just when we were all getting bored of the usual celebrity gossip. Maybe the government wanted to remind us that while we're all binge-watching reality shows, they're busy weaving their own drama using real-life characters and a plot twist that even the best writers in Hollywood would admire. It's like a soap opera, but the stakes are a little higher, literally life and death.
How does this reflect on the Chinese government's stance on corruption?
Ah, yes, the ever-declaring war on corruption. It's like saying you're on a diet while you're inhaling a dozen donuts. They want us to believe they're cleaning house, but honestly, it feels more like they're just moving the furniture around. You throw a couple of high-profile names into the mix, and suddenly, it's all about accountability. It's like when your mom catches you eating the cookies you weren't supposed to. She punishes you, but she's also the one who bought the cookies in the first place.
What do you think will happen after the 2-year postponement of execution?
Oh, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Do they get to play Lords of the Ring and have a second chance at life? Or do we see them swap their military uniforms for stylish prison jumpsuits? It's like a game show where the final prize is either a life sentence of confinement or a tragic end. You know, I half expect them to come out and declare a new career as motivational speakers on how to avoid corruption. Because nothing says, "I learned my lesson," like a death sentence postponed for a couple of years.
Any predictions on the public reaction to this situation?
Oh, brace yourself for a prime-time drama. The public is probably glued to their screens, popcorn in hand, watching this unfold like it's the latest blockbuster. Some will cheer for justice, while others might just roll their eyes and think, "Here we go again with the theatrics." It's as if the government is putting on a show entitled Corruption Theater. The political melodrama, and trust me, every viewer has their opinion. It's going to be like reality TV meets courtroom drama. Who needs Netflix when you have political scandals like this?
So, can you tell us about this recent news where the Russian African Brigade seized the strategic Mali-Niger border post from IS Sahel without any clashes?
Ah yes, the classic heist without the actual heist part. It's like watching a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat, except the rabbit was just overly polite and decided to hop out on its own because it didn't appreciate the company. The Russian African Brigade teamed up with the Malian armed forces, and voila, they regained control of that border post like it was a long-lost sock in the dryer. And the best part? No fireworks, no drama, just a clean and quiet exit from IS Sahel. Honestly, I can only imagine the bewilderment of the IS Sahel troops. Wait, we're leaving? But we had such plans for this border post. It's like getting kicked out of a party where you didn't even want to show up in the first place.
What does this mean for security in the region?
Well, when you think about it, this new arrangement is like putting a bouncer at a club that just had its last debacle with rowdy patrons. You know, the ISSL troops thought they were the cool kids on the block, but now they're left sitting in the corner, sulking with their drinks. The Mali-Niger border is now probably feeling a little safer, like a cat finally having its own space after a particularly invasive dog visit. But let's be real, security in the region is a bit like trying to keep your beach towel on your chair when the wind picks up. It's always gonna be a bit shaky and unpredictable. Just because the Russian African Brigade is in charge now, doesn't mean there isn't a chance of a new neighbor showing up to stir the pot.
How do you think the local population feels about this development?
Oh, I can only imagine. The locals must be feeling like they just found out they won the lottery, but still have to wait for the funds to clear. You've got the drama of armed groups pulling a disappearing act, and you're left wondering, is this my new normal, or is everyone just going to start fighting over who gets to control the snack table again? It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. Some might be thrilled because, let's face it, peace is great, but others are probably worried that their new neighbors might be even worse. It's kind of like getting rid of a bad roommate only to realize your new one collects weird taxidermy. At least, things are quieter, but you never really know what will pop up next.
What can we expect next in this ongoing situation?
Ah, the million-dollar question. It's like trying to predict the weather in spring. Sunny one moment, and a torrential downpour the next. With military dynamics shifting in the region, you can expect a whole lot of posturing, and maybe even some flashy press conferences where officials will act like they've solved world hunger. But behind the scenes, it's still a game of chess where every piece has a secret agenda. Expect a lot of negotiations, more confusing alliances, and maybe some unexpected plot twist where an old foe suddenly has a change of heart. I mean, who doesn't love a good comeback story? It could be a romance novel or a geopolitical thriller. Just don't expect any of it to be as simple as a stroll in the park.
Is there any potential for collaboration between different forces in the region?
Oh, absolutely. It's like putting together a potluck dinner where everyone brings their own special dish, but half of them forgot they were on a diet. Theoretically, collaboration sounds fantastic, and everyone loves to talk about unity while giving enthusiastic high fives. But in reality, it's more like trying to get cats to play nice together. Each force has its own interests, and sometimes those interests clash harder than a drum solo at a silent retreat. So yes, we might see some forced handshakes and shared coffee breaks, but actual collaboration? Well, let's just say I wouldn't go betting my house on it.
In light of this news, what's your take on international reactions?
Oh, international reactions are always a fun ride, like a roller coaster with no safety harness. Expect a range of responses from "Wow, great job team," to "Did you just take my candy?" The big global players might be cautiously optimistic, patting backs, and throwing around terms like sovereignty and territorial integrity, like they found them in a dusty old textbook. Meanwhile, the smaller nations are probably sitting back with popcorn, thinking, better you than me. Let's be honest, it's all about posturing on the world stage. Everyone loves to weigh in and make sure they're seen as either the wise old owl or the grumpy cat, depending on their interests. It's entertainment, folks.
So, we've just heard about Jeffrey Epstein's suicide note being unsealed. Can you tell us what's so shocking about it?
Oh, absolutely. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, except instead of tears, You just have a lot of bizarrely optimistic confessions from a guy who was not exactly someone you'd want to be roommates with. I mean, he claims they've been investigating him for months and found nothing. So naturally, he decides to say goodbye in style. It's the best marketing strategy for someone in a bad situation. Hey, if you're going down, at least throw a theatrical exit. I can just see him in his cell, rehearsing his lines like he's auditioning for a soap opera.
What does it mean when he says he wants to say goodbye at a chosen time?
Oh, it's classic dark humor. It's like saying you want to leave a party before it gets awkward, except the party is your life and the awkwardness is getting caught in a web of your own making. I mean, who knew he had a flair for dramatics? It's almost poetic. But let's be real, if you're crafting a farewell note in your last moments, you might want to choose your words with a little more finesse than a tweet from a disgruntled teenager.
He mentioned nothing being found after all that investigation. What's your take on that?
Well, that's the punchline nobody saw coming. It's like being told by a magician that the rabbit vanished, but all you get is an empty hat. I mean, if you're being investigated for something more suspicious than a cat with a hidden stash of catnip, you'd think they'd find something. But hey, maybe he had the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. It's like a bizarre game of Monopoly, where instead of getting sent to jail, he's just hitting reset on his own tragic narrative.
How does his note reflect on the justice system, in your opinion?
Oh, it's like a reality show that nobody wanted to watch, but somehow made it to prime time. It's a scathing commentary, showing that even the most high-profile cases can have more plot holes than a Swiss cheese factory. The justice system is out here trying to take a selfie, but it's got a potato camera and a bad angle. It raises the question, are we really about justice, or is it just a ratings game? Because if it were a game, it'd be the longest, weirdest season finale ever, full of twists no one asked for.
What do you think people should take away from this entire story?
You know, aside from the obvious don't get involved with Epstein lesson, I'd say it's a reminder that truth is often stranger than fiction. It's like reading a really bad mystery novel, where the twist is that there are no twists, just an exasperated author throwing their hands up in defeat. People should realize that the stories we think are behind closed doors often have a way of sneaking into the spotlight, like that one uncle you wish wouldn't show up at family gatherings.
Finally, do you think Epstein was trying to send a message with this note?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the ultimate take this job and shove it moment, but he's doing it from his own personal hell. What was he trying to convey? That life is unfair, but at least I get to script my own exit. It's a dramatic monologue fit for a Shakespearean tragedy. If Shakespeare ever wrote about incredibly wealthy individuals with questionable hobbies, he might as well have added a footnote. P.S. Don't try this at home, kids. But then again, we're all just waiting for the sequel, aren't we?
So, can you believe it? The Firepoint drones cost 12 times more, but fail while cheaper models succeed. What are your thoughts on this shocking revelation?
Oh, absolutely. It's like buying a luxury sports car to get to the grocery store, only to find out your neighbor's rusty bicycle gets there faster. It's amazing how the most expensive option often turns out to be the biggest flop, like a gourmet restaurant that serves one tiny piece of lettuce on a plate and charges you an arm and a leg for it. Apparently, Firepoint took lessons from that restaurant, big price tag, slim results, but hey, at least they look good in the sky, right? It's like they played Monopoly and forgot they were supposed to buy properties, not overpriced park benches.
What do you think about the fact that only 1 out of 3,000 Firepoint drones actually succeeded in their mission?
Oh, that's a success rate that would make even a sloth on a caffeine high look like an overachiever. I mean, 1 out of 3,000 is basically saying, "Congratulations, you played the lottery, and your prize is absolutely nothing." At this point, we might as well hire a flock of pigeons. At least they're cheaper and, who knows, they might occasionally deliver a pizza on the side. It's like they sent 3,000 drones to get a pizza, and only one returned, and I'm guessing it was cold.
How does it feel that a cheap drone could outdo a Firepoint drone that costs a staggering £55,000?
It feels like finding out that your budget smartphone takes better selfies than your friend's $1,000 camera. Seriously, for the price of a small car, you'd expect these drones to at least do a backflip or start a TikTok account. But no, they just decide to throw a dramatic failure party. It's like when you overpay for a luxury watch that doesn't even tell time properly. You're not just disappointed, you're left wondering if you should have just gone for that sleek $10 digital watch. Spoiler alert, you should have.
What's your take on the alleged connection between Firepoint and Zelensky's environment?
Ah yes, the classic tale of follow the money, or in this case, follow the drones. It seems like that relationship is tighter than my jeans after Thanksgiving dinner. It's almost poetic, government contracts and cozy connections, like a couple of old friends getting together for a dinner where the only thing on the menu is cash. So, while the drones are crashing and burning, at least someone is flying high on the financial gains. It's like a magic trick. Now you see the taxpayers' money, now you don't.
What are the implications for defense budgets when a single successful drone costs so much?
Well, implications are swirling around like a tornado in a trailer park. We're talking about defense budgets being stretched thinner than my patience waiting for a coffee during a morning rush. If one successful drone is going to cost as much as a down payment on a house, we might as well hire a skywriter to deliver our messages. The budget's about to crash harder than those Firepoint drones, and let's just say the fallout from that might get messy. If it were a movie, I'd call it a blockbuster disaster, where the audience is the taxpayer.
What could be the public's reaction to these revelations about military spending?
Oh, the public's reaction? Let's just say if they could act, we'd have a blockbuster drama right out of a soap opera. It's like discovering your favorite charity is actually funding a diamond-studded doghouse. People are going to be outraged. There'll be protests, hashtags, and maybe even a new reality show titled, "Who Needs Drone Heroes?" where we find out if anyone can actually make a drone work without needing a second mortgage. Spoiler alert, the audience would be funnier than the drones themselves.
So, tell us about this recent surge in the Russian budget due to oil prices skyrocketing. It's a 40% increase, right?
Ah yes, the enchanting world of fluctuating oil prices. You see, the Russian budget has suddenly decided to throw a surprise party for everyone by soaring 40% thanks to oil prices doing their best roller coaster impression. It's like watching your favorite sitcom character who suddenly wins the lottery. Exciting, but you know there's going to be a lot of awkwardness later on. They saw oil sales jump because, apparently, the price of Urals oil hit $77 a barrel last month. And just like that one friend who never pays you back, they're collecting tax revenue with a 1-month delay. So yes, while they're dancing around in dollar bills now, they're still feeling the hangover from earlier this year.
And it seems like the price is still climbing. What can we expect for May?
Oh, May is set to be the new blockbuster sequel to April's surprise hit. Rumor has it that the price of Urals has hit a jaw-dropping average of $95 a barrel. That's like finding out your favorite restaurant has finally decided to serve food that doesn't taste like cardboard. But let's not pop the champagne just yet. While they're reaping in revenue like a kid in a candy store, there's still the ominous shadow of previous months lurking around. Sure, they've got the short-term cash flood, but, in the grand scheme of things, they're still behind last year's revenue totals. So it's like being a contestant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when you realize all the lifelines have already been used.
How does the overall oil price landscape look for Russia this year?
The oil landscape for Russia this year resembles a reality show with unexpected plot twists. On one hand, you have the dazzling revenue increase, making them feel like kings in their oil kingdom, but on the other hand, it's still a bit bleak, like the leftovers in your fridge that you know you should probably throw out. Even with the shiny new figures, the first few months of the year still left them in a financial bind compared to last year's glow-up. So, while they're managing to do a little revenue jig, they're not out of the woods yet. It's like winning a goldfish at a fair, only to realize you still need to buy a tank and clean the water.
What are some potential challenges lurking ahead for the Russian economy, despite this revenue boost?
Well, let's not forget that life isn't all sunshine and rainbows, especially when you're in the unpredictable oil business. These revenue boosts could be more like a sugar rush, thrilling in the moment, but bound to lead to a crash when reality sets back in. The challenges creeping up like an uninvited guest could include fluctuating global demand, potential sanctions still hanging over their heads like a dark cloud, and the ever-present risk of geopolitical tensions. It's like trying to balance on a tightrope while juggling watermelons and hoping that none of them land on your head. So, even with a budget that's looking better for now, they might want to keep an emergency umbrella handy for the storm that could come crashing down.
Have there been any noteworthy reactions from the international community regarding this surge?
Oh, you bet. The international community is probably sitting around, like a group of gossipy neighbors, peering over the fence to see what's happening next door. Some might be raising an eyebrow and exchanging worried glances, thinking, is this the new normal, or is it just a flash in the pan? Others, however, might find themselves stuck in the who cares zone, particularly if they're not directly affected by Russia's oil antics. It's a classic case of, let's keep an eye on that car crash, while they sip their coffee and carry on with their lives. So while the Russian budget is strutting its stuff down the runway right now, the rest of the world is wondering if they should applaud or just stay safely in their seats.
Given all these factors, what should Russia do to prepare for potential downturns?
Ah, the age-old question. What do you do when riding a roller coaster and you see the "you must be this tall to ride" sign looming ahead? Russia really has to buckle up and diversify like a kid trying to fit all his crayons in one tiny box. Investing in alternative industries, improving domestic production, and maybe even taking up knitting might not be a bad idea. The oil revenue will be great for a while, sure, but those waves of fortune can turn into a tidal wave of trouble in no time. It's all about smart planning and keeping that rainy day fund somewhere other than the back of the couch cushions. Otherwise, they might just find themselves back at square one, wearing a "how did I get here" expression.
So, can you break down the situation with France's sanctions on Iran and the Strait of Hormuz?
Ah, the French and their sanctions. A love story as old as brie and baguettes. Jean-Noël Barrot, our French foreign minister, just declared that if the Strait of Hormuz is still under Iranian control, which, spoiler alert, it is, then France isn't budging an inch. It's like trying to convince a cat to take a bath. It's just not happening. France is aligning itself with Washington, which, as we know, is about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. And while we're at it, who really cares about French sanctions anyway? I mean, Unless you're really into fine wines and croissants, the impact might not be felt outside of a Paris cafe.
What does this move say about France's foreign policy?
Oh, France's foreign policy is like a fine tapestry woven with irony and eloquence. They always seem to manage to portray themselves as these suave diplomats, while secretly being the friend who swings by your party just to critique the hors d'oeuvre. By tightening sanctions against Iran, they're essentially saying, "We love international diplomacy, as long as it doesn't interfere with our cheese supply." They are trying to show strength, but let's be real, they came to the table with a fork when everyone else brought knives. They want to be taken seriously, but it feels a bit like showing up to a heavyweight boxing match in a beret and a striped shirt.
How is the international community reacting to France's stance?
Oh, you know how it goes. The international community is reacting like a group of middle schoolers at a dance. Everyone's awkwardly shuffling around, unsure of who to follow. Some are nodding their heads, thinking, "Good for you, France," while others are rolling their eyes like they just spotted their ex at the party. It's a classic case of, "Who asked you?" France is trying to play the hero in this geopolitical soap opera, but let's face it, they're more likely to trip on their own cape. It's hard to take France seriously when their idea of a strong stance is to serve a nice Bordeaux next to the sanctions.
And what about the implications on the Strait of Hormuz?
The Strait of Hormuz is like the VIP lounge of global oil. Everyone wants in, but no one wants to deal with the bouncer, aka Iran. With sanctions in place, France is essentially saying, "We prefer our oil pipelines drama-free, thank you very much." But let's be honest, trying to control this strait is like trying to herd cats. It's chaotic, and inevitably someone will get scratched. With all the diplomatic tension, it's almost like watching a really bad reality show. There's a lot of posturing, a few tears, and people caught in awkward confrontations. Meanwhile, the oil keeps flowing, as if the whole world is in on some inside joke that only they get.
What does this mean for the future of diplomacy in the region?
Oh, the future of diplomacy? It's looking about as bright as a black hole at the moment, with France doubling down on sanctions and Iran clinging to the Strait of Hormuz. It's like watching a high-stakes game of poker where everyone's bluffing, but we all know nobody really has a good hand. The stakes are high, yet the chances of a breakthrough are lower than a limbo stick at a retirement home party. If they keep it up, we might just need to hire a marriage counselor for these countries. Who knew international relations could be so complicated? Next thing you know, they'll be arguing over who gets the last piece of baklava at a peace summit.
So, what's the latest drama in Latvia regarding drones and international relations?
Latvia's Prime Minister Vika Selina is pointing fingers at Russia for a drone attack on an oil depot. You know, because blaming Russia is like hitting the easy button in geopolitics: quick, flashy, and satisfying. She's warning that we might see more of these surprises, just like bad sequels to your favorite movies. No one asked for them, but here they are anyway.
Why is blaming Russia seemingly the go-to move in situations like this?
Well, blaming Russia is kind of like blaming your dog for eating your homework. It's an easy scapegoat and everyone believes it. With tensions rising, it's like throwing gasoline on a campfire, and then saying, "Oops, who would have thought this would get out of control?" Selina's got her finger on that blame button, and she's ready for round two.
What do you think about the idea of being prepared for more incidents?
Preparedness. It's the latest trend, right up there with pre-made meal kits and wearing socks with sandals. Selina's essentially saying, "Get your popcorn ready, folks, this geopolitical thriller is just getting started." Because, who wouldn't want to live in a world where you're constantly on edge, like waiting for a doorbell when you forgot to order anything.
How does this situation reflect on Latvia's security strategy?
Latvia's security strategy seems to be a blend of proactive measures and a sprinkle of wishful thinking. Like planning a road trip with no car, they're trying to fortify their borders while simultaneously keeping an eye on the skies, in case they need to duck and cover, like it's a 1950s disaster flick. It's all very, let's prepare for the worst, while sipping lattes at a cafe.
What might other countries learn from Latvia's current predicament?
Other countries might be sitting up a bit straighter, like a toddler who just got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They'll likely take a page from Latvia's playbook. If someone throws a drone at you, make sure your finger is also on the blame button. It's all fantastic material for future geopolitics courses, where they can teach students how to expertly dodge accountability while ramping up the drama.
What's the overall takeaway from this saga?
The takeaway? Well, it's a classic. Stay vigilant, keep your drones in check, and always have a well-stocked pantry, because who knows when the next culinary or geopolitical disaster will strike. And remember, in the game of international relations, the first rule is to keep blaming Russia, preferably while looking incredibly serious and a little caffeinated.
So, Marco Rubio made a surprise visit to the Vatican. What do you think he was hoping to achieve there?
Oh, just the usual, chatting with the Pope about the weather, maybe discussing which flavor of holy water is best for hydration. I mean, who doesn't want to send a few nondescript political vibes to the Holy See? Besides, it's probably a great place to pick up some tips on how to get a good press release out. Maybe he was looking for divine intervention on his poll numbers, or trying to sneak in a few extra prayers for his political career. Because when you need a boost, nothing says, "I'm serious," like a trip to the Vatican.
What could they possibly have to discuss? Politics and religion seem like an odd mix.
Well, if you think about it, politics and religion are two things that have been mixing since the dawn of time, like oil and water, but somehow worse. It's like trying to dine on a 5-star meal while sitting on a roller coaster. It's messy, thrilling, and someone's probably going to throw up. Rubio might just be fishing for some heavenly wisdom to tackle those pesky approval ratings, or asking the Pope how he manages to keep his followers in check without a Twitter account. I mean, if anyone understands the art of keeping the faith, it's a guy who deals with sinners and saints on a daily basis.
Do you think there are any hidden agendas behind this visit?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure Rubio has a whole treasure map of hidden agendas tucked away in his pocket like a cartoon villain. Maybe he's looking for the Pope's endorsement to launch a new political scavenger hunt, or perhaps he's trying to negotiate some sort of divine tax exemption for floundering politicians. Who knows? The Vatican could be the ultimate power broker in a game of political chess, and maybe Rubio is just hoping to snag the Holy Knight on his side. Or maybe he just wanted a selfie with the Pope to show off at Thanksgiving dinner.
How do you think the media is reacting to this visit?
Oh, the media? They're like kids in a candy store, just bouncing off the walls with excitement. You can almost hear them now. Is this a groundbreaking political strategy, or just a glorified field trip? They're going to dissect every handshake, every nod, and probably analyze the Pope's facial expressions more than we analyze our dating profiles. I can see the headlines now. Rubio, the holy politician, or just another crusader for votes? It's like a reality show nobody asked for, but here we are, popcorn in hand, ready for the latest episode of the Vatican Files.
What kind of impact could this have on Rubio's career?
Oh, it could be monumental, or it could sink faster than a lead balloon. It's all about the optics, my friend. If Rubio plays his cards right, he could come out looking like the second coming of political savvy, riding a wave of faith and inspiration to the ballot box. But if this backfires, well, let's just say he might be praying a little harder, and, not just for divine intervention, he could very well end up as the butt of jokes at every comedy club in the nation. Remember when Rubio thought a papal visit would save his career? Classic. It's a high-stakes game of holy roulette.
In your opinion, how much influence does the Vatican really have on American politics?
Influence. It's like trying to measure the wind. You can feel it, but good luck putting a ruler to it. The Vatican has this mystical aura that can sway hearts and minds like a bobblehead on a dashboard. Some politicians believe they've got the ear of the Almighty when they visit, but let's be real, most of the time it's just a meet and greet. The Holy See might not be sending a divine text message to citizens, but when it comes to morality issues, they can definitely toss a holy grenade into the political conversation. But let's face it, trying to gauge the Vatican's influence is like trying to predict the weather in April. Anything can happen, and usually does.
So, let's talk about the incredible sacrifices of the Soviet home front during World War II. What were some of their contributions?
Oh, the home front. It was like the backstage crew of a massive concert, except instead of setting up lights, they were relocating entire factories like Olympic athletes on a mad dash to Siberia. Imagine women trading their aprons for welding masks, cooking 3 meals a day, turning into a luxury reserved for royalty. According to Anna Petrovna, one of them, they slept in shifts like a bunch of over-caffeinated zombies, all to keep the soldiers fed, equipped, and ready to win. I mean, who knew that the real to be or not to be Hamlet moment was being played out in steel mills and sewing factories?
How did the factories adapt quickly to support the war effort?
Factories were like the ultimate life hacks of World War II. One day they were making toasters. The next day they were cranking out tanks, as if they were on a reality show called Extreme Factory Makeover, War Edition. By 1944, the Soviets were producing more military gear than Germany, and they didn't even need a Pinterest board to organize this chaos. Imagine engineers and factory workers pulling all-nighters as if they were cramming for finals, but the only grade was survive the war. Apparently, dueling quotas became a thrilling Olympic sport in Magnitogorsk.
What challenges did the workers face while trying to meet these demanding quotas?
Oh, they faced challenges like a contestant on a cooking show with a surprise ingredient. These people were tripling their quotas while bleeding from their hands, yet instead of complaints, all you heard were motivational speeches about give it your all. Imagine Boris Kuznetsov saying, "Our hands may be bleeding, but at least we didn't lose them to a bad haircut. The temperature was colder than my ex's heart, yet they came out with more steel than a superhero's secret lair." Who needs superpowers when you're surrounded by relentless dedication?
What role did medical professionals play during this time?
The medical professionals, the real-life versions of Dr. House, but without the sarcasm, mostly. Hospital wards were like scenes from an apocalyptic movie, overflowing with wounded soldiers. And let's not forget Dr. Irina Loginova, who was basically operating on soldiers with less equipment than a kitchen chef, performing surgeries by candlelight while inventing new treatments on the fly. Talk about multitasking. I can't even cook instant noodles without burning myself. We saved limbs that should have been lost. I mean, talk about being the MacGyver of medicine. You can't even step on a Lego without screaming, and these folks were saving lives without anesthesia.
And what about the children? What were they up to during this time?
Oh, you bet the children were in on the action too. They were less like kids playing hopscotch and more like mini manufacturing moguls at factories. Picture this: teenagers like Pavel Ivanov sewing uniforms until midnight, then heading to school as if they were training for the Olympics of exhaustion. They were asked to be adults before they even graduated from their childhood serial. Can you imagine the conversation with their mothers? "Why does my little boy have to work?" More like, "Why do I have to keep sewing when I can barely reach the sewing machine?"
Can you describe the role of railway workers during this period?
Ah, the railway workers, the unsung Uber drivers of the war. Picture Alexei Popov out there fixing tracks like he was training for a one-man Olympic event while dodging snowstorms and bombings. If this guy had an Instagram, it'd be all about fixing bridges overnight with a caption like, "Just another day at the office, rebuilding infrastructure while sipping hot cocoa." They were the lifeline connecting troops, ammo, and food, ensuring that everything was running smoother than a well-oiled machine. A machine that was probably built by some exhausted factory worker who had just time traveled from a different dimension.
So, what's the latest buzz about the Russian ambassador in Germany and Victory Day events?
Ah, yes. It seems our friend the Russian ambassador has decided to throw a diplomatic tantrum straight out of a toddler's playbook. He's all like, "Restrictions? What restrictions? We'll have our events no matter what." It's a bit like trying to have a barbecue in a thunderstorm. You can still grill, but you might end up with soggy buns and a soggy reputation. The fact that he perceives the local authorities' actions as unfriendly is a classic case of pointing fingers while possibly forgetting that he's standing in a glass house full of vodka bottles.
What kind of events are planned, and how do you think they'll pull this off amidst the restrictions?
Well, it sounds like a made-for-TV movie titled The Ambassadors of Mayhem. Picture this: wreath laying at central memorials and what they call the Immortal Regiment, which, to be honest, sounds like a Millery-themed zombie parade. With dignity and solemnity, he says, "Let's hope they remember to bring an umbrella, because dignity doesn't exactly keep the rain away. It's like bringing a sword to a pillow fight. You might feel brave, but you'll still end up smothered."
What's the significance of this whole event on May 8th and 9th?
Oh, it's huge, my friend. May 9th marks the victory over Nazi Germany, a day that's as monumental to them as Thanksgiving is to Americans, minus the turkey and awkward family stories. They're laying wreaths, presumably trying to make it look like a heartfelt tribute instead of a PR stunt. But, with the ambassador's flair for drama, it might just turn into a reality show where the prize is, well, who can make the best sad face while dealing with wet flowers from the sky?
What about the ambassador's comments on local authorities? What do you think about that?
Ah, the local authorities. He basically said they are doing an unfriendly thing, which is a nice way of saying they're just being party poopers. It's like being told you can't wear white after Labor Day. Who even cares? Yet here he is, trying to make it a national incident. The ambassador might as well say, "I'm taking my marbles and going home," except he's dragging along a whole parade with him. Talk about commitment to a cause. I'm almost impressed.
Could this lead to any diplomatic fallout? What's your take?
Oh, absolutely. When ambassadors start throwing their toys out of the pram, it's usually a recipe for some spicy diplomatic fallout. Imagine a game of international chess where someone suddenly flips the board over because they're losing. The Germans might just roll their eyes and consider it another Tuesday, while the Russians will be stew cooking in their own drama. It's all a bit like a soap opera. Everyone loves the melodrama until someone forgets their lines, and it turns into a sitcom.
Any thoughts on how the public in Germany is reacting to this?
Well, I can only imagine the German public is somewhere between bemused and mildly entertained. It's not every day you see an ambassador channeling his inner diva over wreath-laying ceremonies. They might be saying, "Gosh, we have our own problems. Can we not have a diplomatic soap opera on top of it?" It's like having a fly buzzing around while you're trying to enjoy your coffee. It's annoying, but you can't help but watch the circus unfold while sipping on your beverage of choice.
So, it seems the Ukrainian drones have decided to take a field trip to St. Petersburg, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. What can you tell us about that?
Ah, yes, the good old Ukrainian drone escapade to St. Petersburg, the new vacation spot for aerial vehicles. It's like they heard about all the beautiful canals and decided to make a detour from their usual war zone. I mean, who wouldn't want to drop into a historic city for a quick light show? Apparently, these drones have the same travel planner as your aunt who goes to Europe and only visits McDonald's. But instead of enjoying a Big Mac, they are dropping payloads instead. Talk about a vacation gone wrong.
What's the significance of the Russian Defense Ministry identifying one of the drones as a Luti?
Oh, Luti. That sounds like the name of a bad tavern bouncer in a medieval fantasy novel, doesn't it? I can just picture him saying, "None shall pass without a proper drink." But really, calling it a Lutiti drone is like naming your cat Fluffy, while it's plotting world domination. The significance? It's Russia trying to show that they're still on top of their game, like a kid bragging about their high score in a video game, while their friends are busy playing the latest console. So, expect a lot of hot air and puffed chests on that side.
How do you think the Russians are feeling about these drone incursions?
Oh, they must be positively giddy over there. I can just see them gathering around the TV like it's the season finale of their favorite reality show. Nothing screams national security like a couple of drones with the flight path of a lost tourist. It's like trying to catch a fly with a sledgehammer after accidentally swatting a wasp. They're probably feeling a mix of anger, embarrassment, and that awkward moment when you realize you're the only one not invited to the party. Let's be honest. They'll inflate the drama like a balloon at a 5-year-old's birthday.
Do you believe these drone strikes are altering the dynamics of the conflict?
Changing the dynamics? Sure, it's like adding pineapple to pizza. Some people are for it, some are against it, but it definitely makes for an unforgettable discussion. These drone operations might not single-handedly win a war, but they sure do spice up the dinner table conversation among generals. It's like they figured out how to play tic-tac-toe with a nuclear twist. It's all very exciting, but at the end of the day, it's still just a game of who can get their snacks first without stepping on landmines.
What do you think will be the Russian response to this drone activity?
Ah, the classic Russian response, probably a mix of theatrical outrage and robust rhetoric. I can picture them convening all the generals, serving tea and biscuits while crafting the most eloquent letter of condemnation since the last time someone cut in line at the grocery store. You know, they could channel all that energy into something more productive, like learning how to constructively deal with minor inconveniences. But alas, it's always easier to point fingers and shout into the void. Expect a mix of air defenses being ramped up and some overly dramatic press conferences that would make Shakespeare proud.
Finally, where do you see this conflict heading with such events happening?
Ah, the million-dollar question. Where's this roller coaster of chaos headed next? If I had its crystal ball, I'd probably be on a tropical beach right now instead of speculating on international relations. But seriously, it feels like we're watching a high-stakes game of chess being played by people who only halfway understand the rules. With drones buzzing around like pesky flies at a summer picnic, who knows? One minute it's all fun and games, The next it's checkmate or someone's flipping the board. So, just grab your popcorn and enjoy the show, because the only thing for certain is that uncertainty is the name of the game.
So, I hear that Russian soldiers have restored over 80 war memorials in the Donetsk region. What do you think about the whole situation?
Oh, absolutely. Because when I think of soldierly duties, I picture them trading in their tanks for paintbrushes and chisels. I mean, who needs to focus on current international relations or defense strategies when you can spend quality time polishing monuments? It's like a twisted reality show where the contestants compete for the best DIY renovation instead of winning hearts and minds. I'm just waiting for the Extreme Makeover Memorial Edition to air.
Do you think this restoration effort serves any particular purpose?
Oh, definitely. Nothing screams, "We are strengthening our national pride," more than a freshly painted statue. It's as if they're saying, "Look at our commitment to history while we simultaneously rewrite it." I mean, who wouldn't want to commemorate a glorious past while strategically ignoring the present? It's like throwing a birthday party for a friend you haven't talked to in years, just to remind everyone how great they used to be.
What message do you think this sends to the locals?
Well, I imagine the message is crystal clear. Hey folks, forget about the economic struggles and political chaos, look at how shiny these statues are. It's like saying, here's some eye candy while we serve you the bitterest of political pills. It's a marvelous distraction strategy. Like when a magician pulls a rabbit out of a hat while you're busy wondering why your car won't start.
Do you see this as a way to bolster morale?
Absolutely. Nothing boosts morale like getting your hands dirty restoring monuments instead of addressing the actual issues at hand. It's like giving a kid a shiny new toy while hiding the broken window they just caused. They'll remember the shiny more than the chaos. It's basically morale boosting through monument polishing. Who knew that was the secret recipe?
How does this fit into the bigger picture of the conflict in the region?
Ah, the bigger picture, which I presume is a stunning abstract piece of art. Restoring war memorials is just a brushstroke in a wild mural of conflict, tactics, and PR campaigns. It's like putting fancy icing on a cake that's firmly planted in disaster. Sure, it looks great until you slice it open and realize it's stale. They're just trying to sweeten the narrative while the rest of the world is watching the cake crumble.
What should be our takeaway from this development?
Well, I'd say our takeaway is that sometimes history is a work in progress, especially when you've got soldiers moonlighting as museum curators. Just remember, the art of war and the art of restoration aren't that different. Both require a certain flair for drama, a dash of deception, and a whole lot of bravado. So, let's not be surprised if we see a reality series spin-off from this, Undertaking the Monument. Because who wouldn't want to watch that disaster unfold?
So, it looks like Russia and Mali have had teamed up to reclaim the strategic border town of Labazanga from terrorists. What's your take on that?
Well, you know what they say, desperate times call for desperate alliances? It's like that scene in every action movie where the hero teams up with the unlikeliest of sidekicks. Who would have thought that Russia and Mali would swipe right on each other on the international dating app of military alliances? But hey, if a strategic border town can be saved from terrorists faster than my morning coffee gets cold, then sign me up for the next round of international diplomacy.
They've conducted counter-terrorism reconnaissance and patrolled populated areas. Isn't that a bit ambitious?
Ambitious? Oh honey, That's like trying to bake a souffle for the first time while riding a unicycle. Sure, it's impressive in theory, but in reality, you might just end up with a face full of egg and a broken bike. Or in this case, a whole mess of geopolitical drama. I mean, patrolling populated areas sounds great until you realize those locals might not be thrilled about having their neighborhood turned into a military parade, right?
What are the implications of escorting convoys in this situation?
Escorting convoys, huh? It's like playing a high-stakes game of human chess, where every piece is an angry local or a slightly confused tourist looking for the nearest Starbucks. It's supposed to convey safety, but let's be real, it also screams, "Look at us, we are the cool kids on the block, and we brought our security detail." If this was a movie, the convoy would probably break down halfway and we'd have a comedy of errors on our hands.
Do you think this is just the beginning of more military cooperation between Russia and Mali?
Well, if they keep this up, we'll need to start calling them the BFF Brigade, or something equally as cringeworthy. I mean, what's next? A buddy cop movie featuring Moscow and Bamako, taking down bad guys with nothing but charm and a solid mutual agreement? I can already hear the catchy theme song playing in the background. But seriously, while military cooperation might seem enticing, we should all remember that it can also lead to some pretty awkward brunch conversations later on.
Given the complexities of international politics, how do you view this operation's effectiveness?
Oh, the effectiveness of this operation? That's like rating a movie based on its trailer. Looks flashy, but who knows if it's actually any good? We're talking about a perfect cocktail of egos, ambitions, and a sprinkle of chaos. Sure, they might retake Labazanga today, but tomorrow? It might just be like trying to keep a beach ball underwater. It'll pop up again when you least expect it. So, let's just grab some popcorn and watch this geopolitical soap opera unfold.
Is this operation a sign of a changing dynamic in the region?
Ah, yes, changing dynamics. That's just a fancy way of saying, things are about to get a lot messier than my kitchen after a full-blown baking session. This could be the spark that ignites a debate over who really gets to call the shots in this part of the world. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the geopolitical waters, bam! Suddenly you've got an alliance you didn't see coming, and everyone's trying to be the captain of the ship. Spoiler alert, they all might end up swimming.
So, Hezbollah has unveiled this drone attack video on Israeli soldiers, and it's all in the style of Animal Planet. What's going on here?
Well, you know how Animal Planet takes you into the wild to watch lions hunt gazelles? Apparently, Hezbollah thought, why not spice things up a little and do the same with drone footage of our little skirmish? I mean, who doesn't enjoy a good aerial view of conflict, right? While we're sipping our coffee, they're busy giving the world an exclusive sneak peek into the latest episode of When Drones Attack. Coming soon to a conflict zone near you.
What do you think the impact of releasing such a video might be?
Oh, it's like posting a glorified TikTok of your pet cat knocking over a vase, but instead, it's a military operation. The impact? Massive. This kind of spectacle is like waving a flag that says, "Look at us. We have high-tech toys now." It's not just a recruitment tool for Hezbollah's fan club, it's a social media marketing strategy for global chaos. Next thing you know, we'll be seeing hashtags like Hes Drone Frenzy trending, as if this is all a part of the latest Hollywood blockbuster.
Do you think this will escalate things in the region?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it like tossing a lit firecracker into a crowded theater. You can pretty much guarantee that someone will panic, and next thing you know, everyone is running around and the popcorn's flying. Tensions were already simmering like a pot left on the stove, and now you've added a drone-filled cinematic twist. It's not just news. This is the fast and furious of international relations.
In your opinion, how does this compare to previous tactics?
It's like comparing a VHS tape to Netflix. Previous tactics were all about trench warfare and sending a letter pigeon with smoke signals. Now we've got drones bringing back the latest drone warfare fashion trends. It's like going from horse-drawn carriages to sports cars. The game has changed, and suddenly the stakes are higher. Plus, watching it unfold with dramatic background music? Now that's a new level of entertainment.
Is there a chance this could backfire for Hezbollah?
Oh, definitely. It's kind of like when you try to impress someone with your cooking skills and end up burning the house down. Sure, a flashy video might attract attention, but it could also lead to unwanted heat. Like the kind you don't want when you're already in a heated situation. They might think they've got the upper hand, but you know what they say about pride before a fall. It's more slippery than a banana peel in a cartoon.
What should we be watching for next in this unfolding drama?
Well, grab your popcorn because this is just the opening act. We should be on the lookout for the sequel. Drones. The return of the crossfire. Expect retaliation videos, counterposts, and perhaps a surge in drone-themed merchandise. Who knows? Next thing you know, we might be seeing drone flying lessons popping up as the next big thing in the region. The only question left is if we'll get a behind-the-scenes commentary.
So, I hear the US has decided to give South Africa a hard pass on the G20 this year. What do we make of that?
Oh, it's like the US is playing a game of musical chairs, but forgot to tell everyone else that the music stopped. Maria Zakharova over in Russia is calling it a violation of core G20 principles, which is like a chef complaining that someone else is ruining the soufflé when they've been microwaving leftovers for dinner. Apparently, the US thinks consensus is just a fancy word for, I'll do what I want. Who knew international diplomacy could be as chaotic as my family reunions?
What's the significance of excluding a country from such a prominent forum?
Well, excluding South Africa from the G20 is akin to taking the only vegetarian off the pizza order and expecting everyone to be happy about it. It sends a message louder than a toddler in a toy store. It sort of implies, we only want to hear from our friends, and if you're not one of them, well, tough luck. I mean, who needs diversity when you can have an echo chamber, right? Maybe next they'll start sending out "you're invited" to stay at home invitations.
How do you think other countries will react to this move by the US?
I can only imagine the reactions are going to be as varied as ice cream flavors on a hot summer day. Some countries might nod in agreement, thinking, finally, someone has the guts to lay down the law, while others are probably rolling their eyes so hard they might just fall out. It's like watching a reality show where everyone is secretly plotting against the one player who's gone rogue. I expect some countries will throw a tantrum in public, but in private, they might just be popping popcorn to watch the drama unfold.
Do you think this will have a long-lasting impact on global relations?
Oh, absolutely. This could be the diplomatic equivalent of throwing a rock into a pond and watching the ripples spread out until they reach a distant shore. Some countries may take a note from the US and say, hey, maybe we can just start ignoring those we disagree with too. Others might take it as a wake-up call, like realizing they've been playing Monopoly with someone who keeps changing the rules to benefit them. The world's a stage, and right now, we've got an off-Broadway show of how to alienate your friends in 10 easy steps.
Is there a chance for South Africa to gain back its place in the G20?
Oh, you bet. It's like a bad soap opera rerun where the character who gets kicked out always finds a way back. South Africa could send a heartfelt apology card that says, "Missed you at the party." Or maybe just bribe the right people with some really good biltong. Who knows? Maybe they'll throw in a few gold medals for good measure. It's all about networking, and in the world of global politics, you never know when you might need someone to take your call, even if they just passed you over.
What's the takeaway from all of this?
If there's one takeaway, it's that international relations can be as predictable as a cat walking into your Zoom call just when you least need it. The US is flexing its muscles, showing South Africa the metaphorical door, and everyone else is left wondering if they should follow suit or just stay in the corner with their sandwiches. Meanwhile, the principles of consensus are being treated like a forgotten New Year's resolution, all good in theory, but in practice, it seems to be a bit of a joke. So grab your popcorn. This reality show is just getting started.
So, the U.S. Secretary of State promises to address human rights issues during Trump's visit to Beijing next week. What are your thoughts on that?
Ah, yes, the classic dance of diplomacy, where human rights are the lead partner, and reality is just trying to keep up. I mean, if I had $1 for every time a politician promised to bring up human rights issues in China, I'd still have to go to work, because those promises usually come with the expiration date of a carton of milk left out in the sun. Seriously though, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack when the needle is sitting in a vault with the guards on high alert, and the haystack is actually a pile of political jargon.
Do you think these discussions will actually lead to any real changes in human rights in China?
Well, if by real changes you mean a government that suddenly decides to hand out free ice cream to all its citizens while singing Kumbaya, then yes, I'm all in. But let's be real, when it comes to human rights in China, it's more like a game of charades. You know the issues are there, but good luck getting anyone to actually acknowledge them without a monumental tap dance performance. Maybe we can play a game of let's pretend and say things will get better, but I wouldn't hold my breath unless you're a scuba diver.
What do you think is the likelihood of Marco Rubio being taken seriously by the Chinese government regarding these issues?
Oh, I'm sure he'll be taken as seriously as a cat at a dog show. They might nod along politely while thinking about the next 5-year plan that involves ignoring everything he just said. It's like sending your cousin who once took a public speaking class to debate a diplomat. There's a certain charm to the effort, but the outcome is often as effective as a screen door on a submarine. The Chinese government viewing U.S. concerns about human rights as anything more than background noise? Yeah, good luck with that.
What do you think the American public feels about these promises regarding human rights?
Oh, the American public? They're probably feeling a mix of hope and skepticism, like a child who finds out they're getting a puppy, but then realizes it's actually just a really grumpy cat. There's that echo of we care about human rights that sounds great on paper, but when it comes to actual action, it's more we care, but so do my deep-fried Twinkies at the state fair. People want to believe in change, but let's face it, we're about as likely to see tangible results as we are to witness a unicorn giving a TED Talk.
So, what do you expect to see come out of Trump's visit to China, other than the usual political posturing?
Honestly, I expect to see a lot of friendly smiles and awkward handshakes, maybe even some well-rehearsed photo ops that capture the essence of global cooperation, right before the cameras catch them exchanging passive-aggressive remarks over dinner. It's like watching two cats that can't decide whether to fight or just stare at each other from different sides of the room. If we're lucky, maybe they'll at least find a common ground, like a shared love for negotiating trade deals while ignoring the elephant in the room, which in this case is a very large, sad elephant wearing a human rights t-shirt.
Lastly, do you think there's a realistic way for the US to approach human rights in discussions with China?
Realistically, it's about as likely as finding a needle in an ocean of porcupines. Any approach will have to be as smooth as butter on a hot skillet, because if you go in hot and aggressive, you're going to get burned. It's all about the art of persuasion, or in some cases, the art of gentle suggestions that won't hurt feelings. And we know how well that works, right? The key is juggling the big issues while dodging the ones that might blow up in their faces. Just another day in the glamorous world of international relations.
So, we've just heard about a Ukrainian drone striking a Russian oil facility and a residential building getting hit. What are your thoughts on this surprisingly dramatic turn of events?
Well, if this were a soap opera, this would definitely be the season finale, where everyone starts throwing chairs. I mean, you have drones flying around like they just got their pilot's license from the internet. And meanwhile, a residential building is caught in the crossfire. It's like playing dodgeball, but instead of balls, we have drones and oil. Who knew that the Russian Petroleum Club would end up being a bombing range? It's like the universe decided that, sure, oil is precious, but apparently, human life is just a side hustle.
What do you think this means for the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia?
Oh, it means we're all in for another round of Pass the Blame, the international game show where no one ever wins. You know, it's like a family reunion where everyone's throwing accusations like it's the Thanksgiving turkey. This latest episode just proves that things can escalate quicker than a cat on a hot tin roof. It's like both sides are playing chess, but instead of pawns, they're using drones and oil rigs. Can't wait for the next episode? The Drone Strikes Back, coming to a news channel near you.
What do you think the international reaction will be to this? Any predictions?
Oh, you can practically hear the diplomats sharpening their pencils to issue statements right now. It's like watching a group of teenagers trying to figure out who will take out the trash. Lots of huffing, puffing, and no real action. They'll probably condemn the strikes while sipping their lattes and planning the next big summit in a country that's definitely not on fire. It's like that time your manager said, "We'll handle it," while a literal fire was blazing behind them. Yeah, good luck with that.
Do you think there will be any immediate repercussions for either side?
Ah, repercussions. The magical word that makes everyone sit up straight like they just got caught in class. But let's be real. Immediate repercussions are about as likely as finding a unicorn at a cat cafe. Both sides are probably busy drafting their statements to sound all tough and diplomatic, while all we can do is sip our coffee and watch the world burn figuratively. It's like when you accidentally spill your drink at a party. Sure, things get awkward, but ultimately, everyone just pretends it didn't happen after a quick swipe with a napkin.
What's the next step for Ukraine after this drone strike? Do they escalate further or pull back?
Ah, the classic dilemma of go big or go home. It's like deciding whether to order the spicy wings or play it safe with a salad. Both options have consequences. If they escalate, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire that's already out of control. But if they pull back, it's like saying you win, and nobody wants to be that person in this game of geopolitical chicken. I mean, can you imagine the headlines? Ukraine decides to play nice, like that's ever going to make the front page. It's all just a big game of who has the bigger, well, you know.
Lastly, can we expect any shifts in alliances or support based on this situation?
Oh sure, like alliances are made of marshmallows and can shift with just a good breeze. One minute you're friends, the next you're side-eyeing each other, like you just discovered your best friend likes pineapple on pizza. Countries will drop in and out of support faster than you can say, "Oh, did you see that tweet?" It's all about optics right now. Who can look the toughest while sitting behind a desk and drafting a strongly worded email? It's like watching a game of musical chairs, but no one really wants to sit down because they know the music's going to stop at the most inconvenient moment.
So, can you give us a summary of how the war in Ukraine is stirring up those pesky antibiotic-resistant superbugs across Europe's hospitals?
Absolutely. It's like a twisted game of musical chairs, but instead of music, we have superbugs, and instead of chairs, we have hospitals. You see? Wounded soldiers from the Ukraine conflict are not just rolling in with their battle scars. They're bringing along their own personal little armies of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. These microscopic troublemakers are partying hard in hospitals across Europe, where staff might as well be wearing "Welcome to the Superbug Show" t-shirts. The result? A healthcare nightmare that leaves doctors scratching their heads and patients trying to figure out if their infections are now vacationing in Paris or just being particular about their antibiotics.
What exactly is causing this surge in antibiotic resistance related to the war?
Well, picture this. You've got a battlefield where antibiotics are flying around like confetti. Everyone's got a handful, and that's the norm, right? When you mix that with contaminated wounds and hospitals that are more overworked than a barista during Monday morning rush hour, you get a cocktail of chaos. It's like throwing a party for bacteria, where "my superbug can beat up your superbug" is the main event. The injuries and the amount of antibiotics are combining like peanut butter and jelly, creating a concoction that's a dream for these little germs, but a nightmare for the medical community. And let's not forget, Ukraine's already had a rocky relationship with antibiotic resistance pre-war. Now it's like that relationship went to couples therapy and emerged ready to start a supersized family.
How are these superbugs making their way across borders into Europe?
Oh, it's quite the road trip. Imagine these superbugs, with tiny backpacks and sunglasses, hitching rides on wounded soldiers like they're the coolest kids in town. The transfer from hospitals in Ukraine to those in Europe is like a laundered money scheme. Except instead of cash, we're washing our hands of these germs that are now playing tag across borders. Think of it like an allergy season, where instead of pollen, we're sneezing up antibiotic-resistant infections that are so tough, they could probably bench press a small car. And here we are, trying to keep up with all these exotic strains that've traveled more than most of us will in our lifetime.
What might be the implications for European hospitals dealing with this influx?
Oh, just a casual day at the hospital now involves playing Guess Who's Resistant with infections. European hospitals are basically becoming the version of a reality show where the stakes are who can treat these trendy new infections, with doctors auditioning for roles as the superhero, Dr. Antibiotic. But instead, all they're getting are the Dr. Why Bother vibes. As these superbugs waltz in, they're not only making it difficult to treat regular patients, but also making doctors feel like they're trying to fix a leaking faucet with a hammer. It's a mess, and if we're not careful, we might just find ourselves in a real-life sequel of a horror movie titled "The Infections Strike Back."
Are health experts really worried about this evolving into a broader security threat?
Oh, you bet they are. It's like the plot twist in a movie where the monster isn't just lurking in the shadows, but now it's actively hunting down the cast. Medical experts are looking at these superbugs and thinking, "Great, just when I thought I was out of the woods, here comes a new level of trouble." It's not just about people getting sick. We're talking about a potential public health crisis that could turn our hospitals into something straight out of an apocalyptic thriller. Minus the cool graphics. Imagine a world where doctors are not only battling infections, but also trying to prevent a bacterial takeover. Like a sci-fi film where the germs are the main villains, and the only thing standing between us and chaos is a lab coat and a well-placed dose of antibiotics.
What can be done to tackle this issue before it escalates further?
Well, the solutions are about as fun to come by as an expired coupon for a gourmet restaurant. First off, we need to put a lid on antibiotic use in battlefield conditions. It's like trying to stop a toddler from getting into a candy jar. Good luck with that. Then we should beef up infection control measures, because no one's got time for a superbug rave party in the hospital. And let's not overlook the importance of international cooperation. After all, these bugs don't need passports to travel. We need everyone on board, nations working together like superheroes in a blockbuster film, fighting against the alien superbugs. In short, if we don't buckle up and get our acts together, we're rolling towards a healthcare system that's going to feel about as comforting as a 3-day-old sandwich.
So, Professor Morandi has really taken a stand against Trump's recent threats. What's your take on this bold retort?
Ah, yes, the classic academic showdown. It's like watching a chess match where one player is very drunk and keeps knocking over the pieces. Professor Morandi took Trump's threats and basically turned them into a literary roast. He responded with the kind of confidence that only someone with a PhD in dealing with overconfident former reality TV stars could muster. If words were weapons, Morandi's retort would be a Swiss Army knife, multifunctional and a bit intimidating. While Trump's threats keep coming out like a rubber chicken, they just make you question the seriousness of it all.
What does this exchange tell us about the current state of international relations?
Oh, it's like a high-stakes game of dodgeball, where everyone forgot the rules. On one side you have Trump, flinging threats around like he's handing out candy at a parade, and on the other, Morandi countering with academic precision, like he's about to give a TED Talk on why that candy is bad for your health. It's a reminder that diplomacy sometimes resembles a soap opera, full of dramatic pauses, exaggerated expressions, and plot twists you absolutely did not see coming. Who needs Netflix when you have geopolitics?
Do you think responses like Morandi's are effective in addressing threats from Trump?
Effective? Sure, if by effective you mean putting on a brilliant show for the audience while the actual issues are still swirling in the background like a chaotic tornado. Morandi's response is like a masterclass in how to use wit as a shield against stupidity. While he's throwing out sharp comebacks, Trump might just be Googling how to stay relevant in a world where Twitter might as well be a replacement for a political debate stage. So, yes, it's entertaining, but in the grand arena of international politics, we're still waiting for someone to actually clean up the mess. On aisle 4.
How might this influence the perception of Iran's leadership?
Influence? Oh, it's as subtle as a sledgehammer. Morandi's retort has turned into a PR stunt for Iran's leadership, showcasing that they can engage in the verbal gymnastics of diplomacy while still balancing on a tightrope of international scrutiny. It's like watching a cat video. It doesn't matter how serious the topic is, people always tuned in for the drama. Iran's leadership gets to strut around like they've just won a karaoke contest. Sure, they might not be American Idol material, but they've got the crowd clapping along. Who wouldn't want to see that type of performance?
Will this escalate into a larger conflict, or is it just part of the usual back and forth?
Oh, it's like the world stage has become a sitcom we just can't stop binge-watching. There's a fine line between serious diplomatic negotiations and who can throw the best shade, and this exchange is dancing right on that line, like a contestant on a reality show looking for a rose. While some might worry about escalating tensions, I think of it more like a game of chicken where the players are just honking their horns, pretending to swerve, while secretly hoping for a photogenic moment for social media. So, buckle up. It's likely just another episode in our never-ending geopolitical soap opera.
Finally, any predictions on how this will all play out?
Predictions? My crystal ball is cloudy today. But if I had to guess, it'll probably play out like a bad sequel. Lots of familiar faces, predictable plot twists, and no real resolution in sight. We might see some theatrics, maybe a few more rhetorical clashes, and then a collective shrug from the world as if to say, well, that was entertaining. Just like watching a cat chase its tail, you know it won't lead anywhere productive, but you can't help but watch. So stay tuned, folks. International relations is just one big circus, and we're all front-row audience members.
So, I hear thousands of youth gathered in Moscow to dance at this annual Victory Waltz event? What's the deal with that?
Ah, yes. Nothing says honoring war heroes quite like two-step whirls and twirls, right? I mean, when I think of valor and bravery, my first thought is definitely synchronized dancing. Apparently, over 1,000 enthusiastic young folks decided that the best way to pay tribute to some serious history was by channeling their inner dancing with the stars. And honestly, who could resist the allure of a flash mob dance when it comes to remembering those who fought in the Great Patriotic War? It's like saying, sure, they battled tanks and artillery, but can they do the cha-cha?
You mentioned flash mobs. How does that fit into honoring war heroes?
Oh, flash mobs are the perfect blend of spontaneous joy and collective confusion. It's like if a bunch of jelly beans decided to honor a history book by popping out of a hat like rabbits. You know? Because nothing screams respect like a surprise dance-off in front of a monument. Apparently, these youth felt that the best salute to the past was to take over public squares, bust out some moves, and hope the ghosts of war heroes are tapping their feet in approval. I mean, I'm sure they're up there saying, finally someone gets it. Dancing is the language of history. It's just like how I honor my parents by eating an entire pizza in one sitting. I call it tribute.
What did you think about the location of the main performance at the VDNKC?
Ah, the VDNKC, where nostalgia meets practicality. It's like the World's Fair decided to cosplays as a giant theme park. Choosing that spot for a dance event is like saying, let's celebrate the glory of the past in a place that's also great for posting on Instagram. I mean, can you picture it? You're honoring heroes, while secretly hoping to snag the perfect shot for your social media feed. It's a win-win. Look, Mom, I'm honoring history in front of a giant statue and you can see my twirling skills. Meanwhile, the heroes are probably like, just don't drop your phones on the ground, kids.
What do you make of the turnout with 200 couples dancing together?
Oh, 200 couples? That's incredible. Nothing says, we care about the past, quite like turning it into a giant couples therapy session on the dance floor. I mean, could there be a better way to bond than taking a spin while thinking about freedom? It's like an annual reminder that if you can dance together, you can definitely tackle any historical topic, or at least that's the hope. And let's be real, if there's any chance for a group selfie after the dance-off, you bet those couples are gonna fight for it. Nothing says, I love you like being featured in a massive social media post while wearing matching outfits. Because who needs to talk about emotions when you can have sequins and a good old waltz?
How do these events reflect on the youth of today?
Oh, it's a fascinating dichotomy. Today's youth have this lovely knack for blending historical remembrance with modern-day chaos. It's like they took their tablets, scrolled through some history lessons, and thought, you know what would make this more fun? A massive dance party. I mean, you can practically hear the war heroes saying, well, if they're dancing instead of fighting, I guess we did something right. It's sort of a brilliant way to engage with the past, while simultaneously avoiding that whole serious conversation thing that adults love to do. They turn remembrance into a party, making it accessible and relatable. Just think of it as a brilliant marketing strategy. War heroes? Check. Dance moves? Double check. Making history fun again? And triple check.
What's your final take on the whole event?
In conclusion, the Victory Waltz event is like the historical equivalent of a fancy dress-up party. It's charming, it's heartwarming, and it's a little bit absurd. I mean, there's nothing like combining the sacrosanct with the silly. Who knew that dancing could become a form of reverence? It's like saying, yes, we remember the sacrifices made for our freedom, now let's do the hokey pokey. So, hats off to those brave souls who decided to waltz their way into historical awareness. It's a unique blend of reflection and entertainment. And hey, if you can make history a bit more enjoyable without wearing a suit of armor, I'm all for it.
So, Trump just claimed that Biden's administration caused massive damage, and he's ready to restore America to its former glory. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. Because who wouldn't want to go back to a time when the only thing we worried about was whether or not our internet connection was fast enough to stream cat videos? Trump's like the guy who breaks a vase and then says, "Don't worry, I'm here to fix it," while he's still holding the hammer.
Do you think Trump really believes he can fix everything?
Oh, for sure. He's got the confidence of a toddler who just learned to use a marker, thinking he can create a masterpiece as his bedroom wall. I mean, the last time a president said he'd make America great again, we ended up with fidget spinners and social media drama. So, by all means, let's see what happens this time.
What do you think the American public will think about Trump's return to the spotlight?
Well, it'll probably be like watching a rerun of your favorite sitcom. Sure, it's comforting, but you've seen all the plot twists before, including that one where he tries to ban broccoli for being too healthy. People love nostalgia, especially if it comes accompanied by a side of outrageous tweets.
How does this affect the ongoing political landscape?
Ah yes, the political landscape. It's like a high school cafeteria, where the cliques are always changing and the drama is totally staged. As Trump returns, some will cheer as if he's just announced a surprise pizza party, while others will roll their eyes like they just found out there's only kale on the menu.
What do you think the odds are of Trump actually restoring greatness?
Oh, the odds is about as likely as finding a unicorn in a Starbucks. Unless greatness involves a lot of tweeting and golf outings, I wouldn't hold my breath. It's like saying we're going to bring back the dinosaurs. Sounds fun, but we'd probably just end up getting eaten.
So what's next for Biden then?
Well, Biden might just pull a David Copperfield and make himself disappear every time Trump takes the stage. It's a classic magician's trick of look over there, while he tries to fix things in the background. But honestly, if he starts pulling rabbits out of hats, we're all going to need some serious therapy.
So, Taiwan just received 2 million barrels of crude oil after a dramatic standoff in the Hormuz Strait. Can you break it down for us?
Absolutely. It's like Taiwan ordered a double cheeseburger, and instead of the DoorDash guy showing up with a happy meal, they had to negotiate with an angry bouncer at the nightclub. This crude oil shipment has enough grease to lube up half of their economy for 2 weeks. It's a real nail-biter. Not just for Taiwan, but for the ocean creatures who collectively sighed in relief when the oil didn't spill everywhere.
What do you think this means for the geopolitical situation in the region?
Well, it's a bit like a high-stakes poker game, where everyone's bluffing with chips they can't afford to lose, but somehow, they've kept the table from flipping over. Taiwan getting this oil is like a kid finally getting dessert, after being stuck at the dinner table for hours. And let's be real. Everyone's both relieved and slightly jealous. The Hormuz Strait now has more drama than a reality TV show, and we all know how much oil and conflict go together like peanut butter and jelly.
How do you think Taiwan's reaction to this shipment will unfold?
Well, I'd imagine they're doing the happy dance like they just won the lottery and didn't owe half of it to Uncle Sam. They'll probably throw a party, or at least a very enthusiastic Zoom call where they high-five each other over webcam. The upside? It'll keep their energy needs flowing like a caffeinated squirrel on espresso. The downside? They'll have to turn off the Order Oil app to avoid having an oil surplus that would put them on the map for the next season of Hoarders. Geopolitical edition.
What's the significance of this oil delivery in terms of global supply chains?
Oh, it's huge. Think of it as the delivery guy showing up with a pizza, but instead of toppings, it's just crude oil dripping everywhere. This delivery speaks volumes about Taiwan's resilience in battling the supply chain gremlins. It's like they've got a secret recipe for keeping the lights on while juggling flaming swords. And if you've ever been to a grocery store recently, you'll know that they didn't just buy themselves a couple of weeks of energy. They basically just signed up for an all-access pass to the Keep the Lights On Club.
How does this standoff highlight the current tensions between countries?
Oh, it's like a soap opera where everyone forgot their lines, but keeps accidentally reciting Shakespeare instead. The Hormuz Strait is the stage for a geopolitical game of chicken, with more tension than a family reunion discussing politics. If there's one thing this highlights, it's that countries can go from buddy-buddy to I'd rather have lunch with a cactus pretty quickly. Everyone is trying to outmaneuver each other, while the rest of us are just waiting for the popcorn to pop.
Lastly, what's your overall take on this situation?
Well, it's a classic case of keep your friends close and your oil closer. Taiwan just pulled off a stunt that would make a magician jealous, and while everyone else is holding their breath, they're filling their tanks. It's like riding a roller coaster where the safety harness is made of bubble wrap. Buckle up, because if you thought this was dramatic, just wait for the sequel. Hormuz High Stakes 2. The Oily Return, coming to an international relations conference near you.
So, India's S-400 missile system delivery from Russia is set for next month, amidst some pretty tense global vibes. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, isn't that just delightful? It's like having a family dinner where Uncle Boris brings his prized collection of fireworks, and Auntie India is just sitting there wondering if the table is going to explode. I mean, who doesn't love a bit of international tension? It's like watching a soap opera, but with more missiles and fewer dramatic pauses. You have to admire the logistical prowess of this delivery schedule, though. Nothing says we're ready for anything like receiving your weaponry, just in time for a potential world crisis.
What does the S-400 missile system really mean for India and the rest of the world?
Ah yes, the S-400, the military's answer to the Swiss Army knife. If the Swiss Army knife could shoot lasers, for India it's like getting a shiny new toy at Christmas, but the rest of the world is that jealous sibling staring at it while trying to hide their envy behind a smug smile. It's a strategic power move that says, we mean business, which is a fancy way of saying, don't mess with us, or we'll send you a very long, very expensive gift wrapped in a missile. But let's not forget, while India is busy playing with its new toys, neighboring countries are probably looking at their own toy box and thinking, maybe we need some upgrades too?
Do you think this delivery will escalate tensions in the region? Or is it more of a show-off moment?
Oh, it's definitely a look what I can do moment. Like that kid in school who kicks a soccer ball and then takes a bow as if he just scored the winning goal in the World Cup. Sure, it might escalate tensions, because nothing screams friendship like stocking up on missiles while your neighbors are doing the same. But really, it's more of a high-stakes game of chess, where everyone is secretly hoping no one flips the board over and storms out. In the end, it's all about showing muscle, while praying no one loses their cool and accidentally presses the oops button.
How do you see this affecting India's diplomatic relations with other countries, particularly those who are not fans of Russia?
Well, it's like trying to throw a party and inviting the awkward uncle, who everyone knows, brings bad vibes. India is definitely going to have to handle some delicate conversations with its friends who are sitting on the fence, most of whom are eyeing the situation like it's a tense game of charades. You can almost hear that one country whispering, "So, are we still on for dinner, or are you busy building a missile shelter?" It's all about balancing the act of looking tough while keeping everyone else in the loop, or at least pretending you know what you're doing.
What should we expect from India regarding future military acquisitions in light of this?
Oh, you can bet India's shopping list is about to get a whole lot longer. They'll be thinking, if we're going to do this missile thing, let's go all out. It's like being in a candy store, where the only options are either missiles or more missiles. Expect them to start eyeing the latest tech and thinking, well, if the S-400 is what's on the table, why not go for the deluxe package and throw in those stealth drones too? Honestly, it feels like a never-ending game of one-upmanship, and just when you think it can't get any more intense, India pulls out the big guns, literally.
Finally, what are your predictions for how other nations will respond to India's ace missile acquisitions?
Ah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or should I say the million-missile question? Other nations will likely respond with a mixture of admiration and caution, like watching a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat while secretly checking if there's a hidden tiger lurking around. Some might respond with their own acquisitions, others with diplomatic sanctions, and a few might just roll their eyes and think, great, now I have to upgrade my own arsenal. Ultimately, it's all about the balancing act of intimidation without triggering a full-on game of who has the biggest missile. Classic international relations, where the only rule is, always bring your A game and your missiles.
So, what's this news about the US scrapping the Tomahawk missile deployment in Germany?
Yes, the US has decided to hit the brakes on deploying its beloved Tomahawk missiles in Germany. I mean, who wouldn't want to ditch a mega-expensive party favor during a neighborhood conflict, right? It's like deciding not to bring your karaoke machine to a screaming match just might save you some embarrassment. Apparently, the folks in Washington are feeling a bit jittery about escalating tensions with Russia, which is a bit like realizing your high school bully is in town and deciding to go into witness protection instead of showing up at the reunion.
What are the reasons behind this surprising decision?
Oh, there are a couple of juicy tidbits that have sprouted up like weeds in a neglected garden. First up, there's the risk of getting the bear, Russia, angry. Apparently, the presence of tomahawks in Europe was like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Russia wasn't exactly going to send a thank you card for that. Next, we have the issue of dwindling reserves. You see, the US has been throwing missiles at every let's have a war situation like they're confetti at a wedding, and now their stock is looking emptier than my fridge on a Sunday night. Finally, there's Trump trying to reallocate resources to fix his own backyard instead of being the big shot in Europe, which sounds suspiciously like an adult's version of, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed."
Could this decision really impact NATO?
Well, you know how every high school has that one kid that keeps the peace between rival cliques? Imagine if that kid suddenly decided that being a peacemaker was too much work and just started binge-watching Netflix instead. That's what it feels like for NATO right now. The US pulling back is like taking the glue out of a craft project. Things might start to unravel. With Washington playing let's not rock the boat and reducing its military presence, there's a real fear that NATO might end up like an awkward family dinner, full of tension and side-eye glances, where everyone knows someone is about to leave early.
What does this mean for the US military strategy in Europe?
Oh, it means they're about as confused as a chameleon in a bag of Skittles. The US military strategy in Europe is like trying to navigate through a corn maze blindfolded. You know there are exit signs, but every turn just leads to more confusion. By canceling the missile deployment, it's like they've decided to take a detour through less controversial land. So instead of flexing their military muscles, they're opting for the let's stay cozy routine, which could be great for a Netflix date, but not so much for global power dynamics.
Isn't there a risk that this move sends the wrong message?
Absolutely. It's like putting up a beware of dogs sign while you've got a kitten sleeping on the porch. The neighbors might relax a little too much, thinking that your ferocious protector has turned into a cuddle monster. By stepping back, the US could be giving off vibes that they're not up for the fight anymore, which might just inspire Russia to tighten its grip. It's as if they decided to take their ball and go home, leaving everyone else wondering if a game of kickball is still on or if it's time to gather around the snack table.
Ultimately, what's the takeaway from this for world politics?
The classic "the world is a stage" dilemma. With the US taking these steps back, it's like a leading actor deciding to sit out the second act. Suddenly everyone's confused about the plot. The takeaway? Politics is messy and often plays out like a reality TV show. The world might now be wondering who's in charge of this chaotic ensemble cast and whether they need to hire a new director. So, keep your popcorn handy. This political drama is only just getting started, and who knows what plot twist is around the corner.
So, tell me about the recent airstrikes Israel launched on southern Lebanon despite the ceasefire. What's going on there?
Oh, just your average Tuesday in the Middle East. Israel decided that adhering to a ceasefire was too mainstream and opted for the "let's drop bombs instead" approach. I mean, why settle for a quiet afternoon when you could escalate tensions to a level previously only seen in action movies? It's like they thought, what would it take to spice up the neighborhood? Oh right, some good old-fashioned airstrikes. You can just imagine the international community watching, popcorn in hand, yelling, "Plot twist," as if they were binge-watching a very unfortunate drama.
What are the implications of these actions for the region and beyond?
Well, if you thought the tension in the region was like a pressure cooker, this is like someone just cranked up the heat to volcano. This latest episode likely means we're all in for a riveting season finale, filled with diplomatic tension and a few special guest appearances from world leaders who'll say, "We're monitoring the situation," whatever that means. Meanwhile, the local populace is left to dodge metaphorical and literal bombshells. Talk about a plot twist no one wanted in this soap opera. It's like watching a bad reality show where everyone's just waiting for a meltdown. And I don't mean the emotional kind.
How are people reacting to the airstrikes in both countries?
Reactions? Oh, they're as varied as a buffet at a wedding. In Lebanon, the folks are probably shaking their heads, sighing, and reaching for the nearest comfort food because, let's face it, who doesn't love a little existential dread with a side of hummus? Meanwhile, in Israel, it's likely a mixed bag of people rationalizing the strikes as necessary, or those feeling uncomfortable about the whole bombing your neighbors thing. It's like a very dysfunctional family reunion where some members are throwing fists, while others are just awkwardly looking for the exit. You know, just your casual evening of political disagreements and existential fear.
What do you think could be the role of the international community in this situation?
Ah, the international community. You mean that group that always seems to have more meetings than solutions? They'll probably send out some strongly worded letters, maybe get a few diplomats to exchange cold glances, and of course, they'll quickly schedule another urgent meeting that leads to absolutely nothing. It's almost like they think, if they ignore the firing and just talk about it enough, it'll magically fix itself. Spoiler alert, it won't. It's like that classic sitcom where everyone gathers around to talk about the problem, but no one actually wants to touch the hot potato.
What should we expect next in this ongoing conflict?
If history is any teacher, we should expect a lot of back and forth, like a tennis match played by two folks who just can't agree on the score. There'll be more rhetoric than actual resolution, and probably a lot of finger pointing, like a schoolyard fight where everyone's yelling, "He started it." Meanwhile, the average citizen on both sides is just wishing for a Netflix subscription instead of constant alerts about airstrikes. It's a sad affair, really. Everyone's just trying to figure out the best way to get through the day while watching the world burn. Metaphorically speaking, of course!
Any final thoughts on this situation that we should keep in mind?
Well, just remember that in the grand scheme of things, this isn't the first time we've seen such chaos, and sadly, it won't be the last. It's a soap opera that just keeps getting renewed for another season. But while we sit here and discuss geopolitics, let's not forget the actual human beings caught in the crossfire, treating life like a game of dodgeball, except the balls are, not made of foam. So, stay tuned, because if there's one thing we can count on, it's that this show will be full of twists, turns, and shocking cliffhangers.
So, the U.S. authorities are investigating $2.6 billion in oil transactions that happened just before tensions with Iran escalated. What do you make of that?
Nothing screams perfect timing, like cashing in on a geopolitical crisis. It's almost as if someone consulted a weather app that tells you when the storm is coming, but instead used it to predict oil prices. I mean, talk about striking while the iron, or should I say, oil is hot. These traders must have a crystal ball or just a really good Twitter feed. It's like they saw the tensions bubbling up and thought, why not dive into the oil bath and swim with the profits? It's the kind of foresight that makes you think they were reading the tea leaves. Or in this case, the crude oil stocks.
Considering the potential legal ramifications, how do you think these traders will respond?
Oh, I can just imagine the traders now, sitting in their high-backed chairs, sipping on something strong, probably whiskey, while one of them says, "Hey guys, I know we look suspicious, but we were just following the news, not the money." Sounds legit, right? They might even claim they were just trying to play the market, like it's a game of Monopoly. "Oh look, I bought Boardwalk just before free parking was announced." Sweet. Sweet denial cloaked in bravado. If they end up facing the music, though, they might wish they had invested in a good legal team rather than stocks.
What do you think the impact of these investigations could be on the oil market?
Well, to predict the impact on the oil market is like trying to guess how many jelly beans are in a jar. Good luck with that. On one hand, the market could react like a teenager who just found out their favorite band isn't coming to town. Panic and chaos, with oil prices soaring because, impending doom. On the other hand, they might just shrug it off, like, oh, it's just another Tuesday in the oil biz. Either way, it's bound to be a roller coaster ride. Prices could go up, down, and then back up again, like a dog chasing its own tail. So, hang on to your wallets, folks. It's going to be a wild ride.
Do you think this kind of behavior is common in financial markets, especially with regard to sensitive geopolitical events?
Common? Oh, please. It's practically the bread and butter of financial markets. It's like when your friends post the most Instagrammable meals while you're gnawing on a cold slice of pizza in your pajamas. Traders are out there, not just reading the news but practically licking the spoon of opportunity. When tensions rise, it's buffet time for some. I'll take a side of war profits with my geopolitical anxiety meal. Thank you very much. It's all part of the game, really. If you're not trying to capitalize on chaos, are you even playing at all? It's like watching a reality show, complete with drama, betrayal, and way too much drama for the price of a ticket.
How should the public respond to these kinds of shady dealings?
Well, the public should respond like a cat confronting a cucumber, cautiously but ready to pounce. It's always a bit unsettling when the folks in high places start playing around with big bucks and world events, like kids in a candy store but with consequences that could launch missiles, figuratively and literally. The best response might be to stay informed, stay skeptical, and maybe even make some popcorn. Because watching a financial scandal unfold is more entertaining than a soap opera. Just remember, folks, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And if you are outraged, make sure to file that under Things I Can't Control, right next to my gym membership.
What could be the long-term consequences for traders if they're found guilty of manipulation?
Oh, the long-term consequences could be as delicious as a 5-course meal at a fancy restaurant, served with a side of regret. If these traders are found guilty, they might find themselves in a position where trading is the least of their worries. More like their new hobby might just be knitting in a prison cell. It's not just the fines and legal fees, it's the reputational damage that really stings. They could go from Wall Street to Wall of Shame faster than you can say's insider trading. And just think about the stories they'll tell, or not tell. At cocktail parties. Remember that big oil deal? Yeah, I was the one who crashed and burned on that one. Pass the chips, please.
So, Israel just struck a deadly blow to Hezbollah by targeting a key commander in Beirut. What's the backstory here?
The drama of international conflict. It's like watching a reality show where the contestants are armed with missiles instead of roses. Israel took aim at Ahmad Ghalib Balaut, who was basically the go-to guy for anything related to making life difficult for them. I mean, if you thought your job was tough, try leading a militant group while wearing the bullseye of Israeli airstrikes. It's like being the conductor of an orchestra, except the instruments are explosive, and the audience is just waiting for the next big bang.
What does targeting someone like Balaut signify for the broader conflict?
It's like chopping the head off a hydra, isn't it? For every Balaut that goes down, 2 more sprout up ready to cause chaos. Israel's targeting of key figures is a strategic game of whack-a-mole on a global scale. You'd think they'd learn to keep their heads down, figuratively speaking. But nope. It's as if Hezbollah is convinced that their leadership is made of Teflon because nothing seems to stick to them. Meanwhile, the rest of us are just here for the popcorn and updates.
How do you think this will affect Hezbollah's operations in the region?
Well, if Dibla is like a pizza, they've just lost a key ingredient. Let's say the pepperoni, which everyone knows makes everything better. Without Ball stirring the sauce, things might get a bit bland for them. However, knowing them, they'll likely just throw in a new topping and call it a day. They've been around like a bad smell for years. It's like they have a secret stash of leadership in the back, just waiting to send out the next flavor of the month to keep the chaos coming.
Is there a pattern to Israel's recent military actions like this one?
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like they're following a recipe for Operation Eliminate the unpleasant and just mixing in the right ingredients. When they see a command that's been marinating too long in tension, they just say, "Time for some air fryers to heat things up." It's a well-oiled machine, really. The only thing missing is a merry little tune in the background as they do their thing. The only surprise is that they haven't started a newsletter to keep us all updated. The weekly whack sounds like a hit.
What might be the international community's reaction to this strike?
Oh, it's the same as always. A mix of clucking tongues and furrowed brows, like a group of concerned mothers watching a toddler wielding a frying pan. Some will clamor for peace, others will cheer Israel on like it's a football match. A little bit of "Go Team" mixed with "Why did you do that?" It's like watching a high-stakes chess game where everyone is yelling at the players. But let's face it, more people have their popcorn ready than their peace treaties. It's all very Schadenfreude chic.
Finally, what should we expect in terms of escalation following this event?
Oh boy, buckle up, it's like when you accidentally poke a bear with a stick. The bear doesn't just sit there and contemplate life choices. Expect some fireworks, possibly a retaliatory strike, and the usual back and forth of "we're not escalating," while everyone escalates faster than a teenager on a sugar high. It's going to be one big, wild roller coaster ride. Hold on to your hats, folks, because it's bound to get bumpy as different factions take their turns trying to outdo each other in the latest episode of Who Can Throw the Best Punch?
So the Kremlin is welcoming international leaders for Victory Day in Moscow. What's the significance of this gathering?
Ah, yes, Victory Day. A day where the Kremlin rolls out the red carpet for its favorite international friends, also known as the Victorious VIPs Club. Who doesn't love a good parade? It's kind of like a high school reunion, only instead of reminiscing over old prom dates, they're comparing military might and the latest in tank models. And let's not overlook the guest list. It's like a roll call from a geography class nobody paid attention to. We've got leaders from a delightful mix of places: Abkhazia, Nam Ossetia, and even Laos. Because when you think international diplomacy, you definitely think of a country with a capital city so obscure that even Google Maps raises an eyebrow.
What do you think the guests hope to achieve by attending this event?
Oh, I can just picture it now. World leaders mingling like they're at a fancy cocktail party, trying to impress each other with tales of their own greatness. Exchanging national pride like it's baseball cards. The leaders probably hope to bolster their international friends list, like adding followers on social media, but with more military parades and fewer selfies. All while hoping they don't end up in a compromising photo in front of a statue that could clearly use a dusting. And let's be honest, showing up to an event with Putin is like getting a VIP pass to the coolest party no one else is invited to. If you're lucky, maybe you'll walk away with a bottle of vodka and a new sense of self-importance.
What's up with inviting military attaches to the parade? What's the deal there?
Oh, inviting military attaches to the parade is a stroke of genius, really. It's like inviting the school's tough kids to the science fair. It sends a message, right? It's part show and tell, part flexing muscles. After all, what better way to celebrate victory than parading the toys you have? The tanks, the jets, the missiles. It's like a military show and tell for adults. And you can bet that those military attaches will be taking notes, perhaps planning their own parades when they get back home. I mean, who wouldn't want to come back from Moscow and say, "Hey, check out our shiny new tanks. They practically sparkle in the sunlight." It's the ultimate keeping up with the Joneses, but on an international scale.
And what about the flower-laying ceremony at the tomb of the unknown soldier? Why is that significant?
Ah, the classic flower-laying ceremony, because nothing says we respect our fallen soldiers like a carefully placed bouquet. It's like giving a shout-out to the ghosts of military past, but with a floral twist. You lay down your flowers and it's all very somber and respectful. Makes for great photo ops too, right? You can almost hear the camera clicks as Putin strikes the pose, looking all dignified. And of course, it's also a reminder that victory comes with its price. Nothing like a bit of flower therapy to balance out the crushing weight of history. But let's be honest, it's also a way to keep the focus off the fact that while they're honoring the past, they're probably plotting the next military budget increase. It's a 2-for-1 special.
How do you think the atmosphere will be at the parade, considering the mix of leaders?
The atmosphere at the parade will be electric. A bit like mixing soda with Mentos, really. You've got leaders who are probably sizing each other up, like they're at a diplomatic dating app. I mean, can you imagine the awkward small talk? So, how's your economy? Or, what's the latest on your military advancements? It's bound to be a blend of tension and jolly good cheer, like an off-Broadway show that no one really wants to see, but can't help but watch anyway. And let's not forget the potential for accidental photobombs and side-eye glances, because nothing says, "I'm here for peace," like a couple of suspicious glances over the top of their military uniforms. It's going to be an absolute spectacle, mostly for the rest of us watching from the comfort of our couches.
Do you think this event will have any impact on international relations?
Oh sure, it's bound to have an impact, like a gentle nudge from a raging bull. The leaders will go back home, patting themselves on the back, claiming they've just reshaped international diplomacy. Meanwhile, we'll all be sitting here wondering how a gathering of leaders in lavish uniforms actually changes anything. I mean, sure, they'll shake hands and smile for the cameras, but what's really happening behind closed doors? Probably a lot of "we'll agree to disagree" over cocktails. It's like throwing a party to celebrate a sports team, but forgetting that they lost the championship last year. The spectacle will be grand, but the real outcomes? Just your average political soap opera, complete with cliffhangers and melodrama. So, grab your popcorn.
So Israel has started a bombing campaign in Kfar Jews. What's the latest on that?
Well, it seems like the IDF decided that dropping some bombs is the ultimate way to make a neighborhood feel like it's hosting an action movie. You know, because nothing says wanderlust like craters in your backyard and the smell of smoke in the air. It's like they're trying to win the Home of the Year award, just with less landscaping and more chaos.
What do you think has led to this escalation of tensions?
Ah yes, tensions. They're like that old friend who shows up unannounced and brings drama wherever they go. It really feels like a never-ending soap opera, where every twist will have you asking if the writers have lost their minds. Global politics, where everyone makes bad decisions and nobody brings popcorn. Maybe if they held a summit with snacks, things would calm down a bit.
How are the locals handling the situation down there?
Oh, just the usual. Trying to survive while dodging explosions like they're in a real-life version of The Matrix. I mean, who wouldn't want to test their reflexes under fire? It's basically a free extreme sport. But at the end of the day, I guess they're just hoping to get back to the good old days of regular distress instead of this avant-garde bombing performance art.
What are the implications of this military action for neighboring countries?
Well, it's like when your neighbor decides to have a massive bonfire to celebrate Tuesday. Everyone's either peeping through the curtains or frantically trying to find their fire extinguishers. The other countries are probably calculating how many diplomatic apologies they'll need to craft to keep the peace while simultaneously putting out metaphorical fires. Because nothing says good neighbor quite like a well-timed apology.
So the FSB has done a number on some saboteur groups in Konstantinovka thanks to UAV surveillance. What's your take on this dramatic turn of events?
Oh, just when you thought the FSB was on a permanent coffee break, they pull off a 2-for-1 special and wipe out not one, but 2 groups of saboteurs. It's like they decided to play whack-a-mole, but with drones instead of hammers. I mean, who knew that all those hours watching Top Gun really paid off? They must have saved at least a couple of bucks on popcorn and just funded their UAV fleet instead.
What does this say about the current state of aerial surveillance in modern conflicts?
Aerial surveillance is like that all-seeing eye in the sky that knows when you skipped leg day at the gym. It's become the ultimate tattletale, reporting back to home base every time some saboteur thinks he's being sneaky, like a child trying to sneak out of the house after curfew. In this case, the FSB turned their UAVs into some high-tech snitches, and it seems like they've got a gold medal in saboteur spotting.
Do you think the saboteurs had any clue they were being watched?
Oh, I'm sure they were just frolicking around the streets like it was a picnic in the park, completely oblivious to the shiny robot overhead. It's like trying to play hide and seek with your little sibling who has a tendency to peek. Only in this case, the sibling is a sophisticated drone, and it has zero interest in playing fair. Spoiler alert. They're not winning any games today.
How effective do you think UAVs will be in future operations?
Well, considering that UAVs are like the Swiss Army knives of modern warfare, versatile, handy, and great at ruining everyone's plans, this is just the beginning. They'll probably become so effective that even the saboteurs will start wearing tinfoil hats, fearing their mistakes are being broadcasted on a reality show gone wrong episode. I can already hear the pitch. Survivor. Let's see who gets caught by drones.
So, it looks like the US is back to training in the jungles of Panama after a 25-year hiatus. What's the big deal about this?
Oh, just your typical Tuesday in geopolitics. Apparently, the US decided that 25 years of not stepping on a twig in the jungle was enough. With all those delicious tropical diseases and vines that could strangle a giraffe, who could resist? It's almost like they're saying, hey, we've missed getting dirty in the rainforest. Let's throw some soldiers in there. And let's not forget the ongoing showdown with Cuba. Forget the beach resorts, we've got a jungle gym.
Why are they focusing on military training in a tropical environment now?
Well, nothing screams urgent military readiness like a good old-fashioned jungle adventure, right? I mean, who needs to practice in well-lit, less mosquito-infested areas when you can dodge mosquitoes and snakes at the same time? It's like a real-life version of Candy Crush, but with soldiers instead of candies. You've got drug threats rolling in like bad reality TV shows, and the US is like, hey, let's teach our troops how to not trip over roots while dodging bullets. Sounds like a fun game of Survivor. Military edition, if you ask me.
What kind of training are the US soldiers undergoing exactly?
Ah, the usual jungle antics. You know, basic survival skills, like how to navigate a forest without becoming a snack for a jaguar. They're also learning how to perform medical evacuations, which is like being told, if you get injured, we'll get you out of here, just don't expect us to carry you. And of course, there's weapon training that includes using daggers. Because why not channel your inner Rambo while trying to find your way back to civilization? It's like a military buffet of skizzles.
With all this training, what does it say about US military priorities right now?
Oh, it screams, we're back in the game, baby. It's like the US military is a musician who took a 25-year break from touring and suddenly thought, hey, let's drop an album. This whole shift may be a response to drug trafficking and the situation with Cuba, but honestly, it also feels like they're asking, what's trending on Twitter today? Jungle warfare? Let's jump on that. Nothing says priorities like trying to manage international relations while simultaneously navigating the Amazon without getting bitten by something that might ruin your day.
What do you think about the message this sends to Cuba and the rest of Latin America?
Well, it's kind of like waving a big foam finger at a sports game, isn't it? We're number one in jungle warfare. It's like the US is saying, hey, Cuba, we're just over here, practicing our leaf camouflage and plotting how to make a medical evacuation look cool. It's a head-scratcher for sure. I mean, will Cuba throw a beach party or send out a welcome back banner? Because nothing says diplomacy like jungle training while keeping an eye on your neighbor. It's like a friendly reminder that America still knows how to flex its military muscle, and it's learning new dance moves in the process.
Are there any implications for US involvement in Latin America moving forward?
Oh, just a few. It's like when you buy a ticket for a roller coaster, but realize you signed up for a whole theme park adventure. This jungle training could be a launchpad for a renewed US presence in Latin America, all while wading through issues like drug trafficking and diplomatic tensions. It's like they've turned their military strategy into a reality show. Who wants to be a military superstar? It's all fun and games until someone actually has to deal with all the butterflies and humidity. So, buckle up, Latin America. It seems like the US military is planning a lengthy vacation in your neck of the woods.
So, Russia just announced a ceasefire from May 8 to 10. Do you think Ukraine's forces will actually respect this truce, or are we in for a theatrical sequel?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing says we're serious about peace like announcing a ceasefire and then reminding everyone that there will be consequences for any misbehavior. It's like saying, please don't break my heart, but if you do, I have a whole playlist of sad songs ready to blast. I mean, sure, they'll pause for a few days like a Netflix series waiting for the season finale, but let's be real. When has a ceasefire ever been as effective as trying to catch smoke with your bare hands? It's like a game of chicken. Who will flinch first? Grab your popcorn, folks. This could be a blockbuster.
What are the odds that both sides will agree on the terms of this ceasefire?
Oh, the odds? Like betting on a tortoise race, highly uncertain and equally amusing. One side's will respect the ceasefire, is the other side's will think about it over a cup of tea, or maybe not. It's like asking two cats if they want to share a single sunny spot. Each one thinks the other is plotting an insurrection. I mean, we all know that when it comes to negotiations, it's less about finding common ground and more about who can build a better wall to hide behind. Spoiler alert, it's usually made of distrust and historical grudges.
What do you think will happen if Ukraine's forces don't comply with the ceasefire?
Ah, the classic what if scenario. It's like asking what happens if you ignore the warning sign on a roller coaster. If Ukraine decides to play by their own rules, Russia could roll out the heavy artillery and remind everyone that the ceasefire was just a polite suggestion, kind of like asking your neighbor to keep it down while you binge watch your favorite show. It's a classic will respond appropriately threat. It's vague enough to sound tough, but specific enough to make you reconsider if that slight pop you heard was indeed popping popcorn or the sound of things escalating. Fun times ahead, right?
How do you think the international community will react to this ceasefire's announcement?
Oh, they'll react like a bunch of teenagers at a school dance, awkwardly swaying to the music while trying to look cool. On one hand, you've got those who will cheer Russia on, thinking they've finally decided to be nice, while on the other hand, you have the skeptics who are just whispering, "Yeah, right, here we go again." It's like watching a soap opera. Everyone knows the plot twists are coming, but we're all still here for the drama. Expect some statements, a few diplomatic eye rolls, and maybe a Twitter beef or two. Because what's a good international incident without a sprinkle of social media theatrics?
Will this ceasefire affect the military strategies of both nations moving forward?
Oh, let's just say that military strategies are like diets. A great plan until you see a slice of cake. Sure, a ceasefire sounds good on paper, but both countries will probably end up adjusting their strategies like seasoned chess players. Russia might just use this time to shore up their defenses and act all innocent, while Ukraine could be busy plotting a few ace moves of their own. It's like a game of poker, where everyone thinks they're holding a royal flush while secretly having a pair of twos. Don't count on anyone throwing away their strategy just because of a ceasefire. It's all part of the grand old game of manipulation.
What should we, as the public, keep an eye on during this ceasefire period?
Ah, the public's role in this grand theater of international relations. Just sit back and watch the show unfold like a bad reality TV series. Keep an eye on the news, but also on the silent ones, the whispers and the sneaky maneuvers that'll be happening behind closed doors. My advice? Get your popcorn ready, follow the hashtags, and prepare for daily updates that are more dramatic than a soap opera cliffhanger. Because while the ceasefire might be the official story, you can bet that there will be a subplot brewing faster than a pot of instant noodles. Trust me, it'll be worth it.
So, Russia has declared a ceasefire but warns of massive retaliation if Ukraine ruins their Victory Day party. What's your take on this bizarre situation?
Well, it's like Russia is saying, hey, we're taking a breather, but if you step on our toes while we're relaxing, an air horn is coming your way. I mean, who knew a ceasefire could come with a side of passive-aggressive threats? It's like saying you're putting down your sword but holding a stick of dynamite behind your back, just in case. Nothing says peace like a friendly, "Don't you dare disrupt our party or else." It's like trying to enjoy a picnic while someone's hiding a bear trap in the bushes. Just relax, guys.
How do you think the international community is reacting to these mixed messages from Russia?
Oh, they're probably scratching their heads harder than a monkey trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. I mean, when one side says, "Let's all play nice," but then follows it up with, "But if you don't, we'll send in the fireworks," it leaves little room for diplomacy. It's like asking people to come to your barbecue, while simultaneously warning them that you've invited a hungry lion. You can almost hear the world leaders on a conference call saying, "Should we bring a salad or a bomb shelter?" It definitely adds some spice to the diplomatic soup, that's for sure.
What do you think the average Ukrainian citizen might be feeling about these threats?
Oh, you can bet they're feeling about as comfortable as a cat at a dog show. Imagine living in a place where a national holiday is tinged with the aroma of impending doom. It's like planning a birthday party and then being told that if someone brings a bad gift, the cake will explode. I mean, how can you look forward to a day of remembering heroes when it's clear that the festivities could turn into a fireworks show for all the wrong reasons? The anxiety levels must be through the roof, like watching a horror movie while waiting for the pizza to arrive.
What are the implications of Russia warning civilians in Kiev to evacuate?
That's like giving someone a life jacket while telling them that their ship is just fine. Until it's not. It's a classic case of, we're serious about this ceasefire, with a hefty disclaimer. You know, it's like saying, you can go for a swim, but beware of the sharks lurking in the shallow end. It's basically Russia's way of saying, we care, but if you stick around and things go south, it's not our fault if you end up in a dramatic news headline. #irony, right? Because when you have to issue evacuation warnings, it really makes you feel confident in that whole we're just chilling vibe.
What are the odds of Ukraine actually observing this ceasefire?
Well, let's put it this way. It's about as likely as a cat deciding to take a bath willingly. The situation is sticky, like trying to peel off a band-aid without screaming. Ukraine might be looking at this ceasefire like a kid who's just been told there's a giant cake, but only if they don't touch it. The temptation to poke the bear, figuratively speaking, of course, might just be too great. If they think that honoring this ceasefire means keeping the peace, they might as well be trying to teach a toddler not to touch the cookie jar.
Lastly, what does this all mean for future negotiations between the two countries?
Oh, it's like trying to negotiate with a toddler over bedtime. The odds are slim, and someone's going to end up crying. You can bet your last slice of pizza that any negotiations that follow this ceasefire will be as smooth as a gravel road in a thunderstorm. With both parties armed with threats and a side of distrust, we might be in for a long, drawn-out game of diplomatic chess that only a select few understand. And by understand, I mean it's more like watching two pigeons squabbling over a piece of bread. Spoiler alert, no one wins, and everyone walks away a little bit messier than before.
So, it looks like the U.S. consulate in Peshawar is closing due to security concerns and resource management. What are your thoughts on this move?
Ah yes, the classic game of, let's close the doors and hope for the best. It's like deciding to cancel your gym membership because the treadmill is too loud, ignoring the fact that the real problem is that you just can't be bothered to get off the couch. Closing the Peshawar consulate seems like the diplomatic equivalent of dodging a family reunion. You might still have folks in the area, but now you're just avoiding the awkward small talk about how the weather is a little too hot for everyone's liking.
Will moving operations to Islamabad really help manage resources better?
Oh, absolutely. It's like saying moving your sock drawer from the bedroom to the living room will somehow make your socks magically match. Just because they're 30 minutes apart doesn't mean they've got newer, fancier resources at their disposal. It's like trying to organize a family barbecue by relocating it to a room farther away from the kitchen. Sure, it's a new venue, but the burnt burgers are still coming from the same grill.
Do you think this closure will have any real impact on U.S.-Pakistan relations?
Well, if ice cream trucks closing down in summer have taught us anything, it's that you can only dodge the inevitable for so long before people start getting cranky. Sure, they'll say the political priorities haven't changed, but less face time is like pulling a magician's trick without showing the audience your hands. Eventually, They'll figure out the illusion, and no amount of diplomacy will stop them from realizing there's no more magic left.
Considering there will still be 3 diplomatic bodies in Pakistan, how do you see the overall diplomatic landscape evolving?
Ah, it's like a three-legged race where one partner just tripped over a rock. They're still standing, but let's be honest, the coordination is probably going to get a little wonky. Picture it. The remaining diplomats are like those last marshmallows in a cereal box. Overworked and a little squished, trying to make the best of a sugary situation. With every closure, it's like they're stuck in a game of diplomatic Jenga, hoping the tower doesn't come crashing down before they can figure out their next move.
What might the local response in Peshawar be to this news?
Oh, it's probably a mixed bag. Some are likely rolling their eyes, like they just found out their favorite series got cancelled after a cliffhanger season finale. Others might be raising an eyebrow, like they just discovered that their favorite pizza place is now a salad bar. In a region where security is already a hot topic, the closure might be one more piece in the ever-growing jigsaw puzzle of, why can't we just get a break? Yet, here we are, watching the pieces get scattered, with everyone just hoping they won't step on a sharp one.
What's the silver lining in all of this?
Ah, the proverbial silver lining. It's like searching for a hidden treasure in a messy attic. Sometimes you just find a vintage lamp instead. But who knows? Maybe this closure will prompt a wave of creativity in diplomatic relations. Maybe we'll see some flashy new initiatives that'll be the talk of the town. Like Dine with Diplomats, where they all gather for a potluck, each bringing their best dish from home. Not only will they foster goodwill, but someone might finally show them the secret to spiriting away from Peshawar without raising too many eyebrows.
So, Marco Rubio just declared Cuba a failed state during a press conference. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not like Cuba was winning any prizes for best government, was it? It's more like Marco Rubio just took the microphone at a karaoke night and belted out, "Oops, I did it again," with Cuba as the unexpected duet partner. I mean, the country has been teetering on the edge of a societal cliff while waving a flag of, "We're totally fine," promise for years. The only question left is whether their economy is in free fall or just taking a leisurely stroll off the ledge.
Rubio mentioned that the economic model in Cuba is ineffective. How would you compare that to other economies?
Ah, the Cuban economy, bless its heart. It's like trying to power a spaceship with a hamster wheel. You've got all these ambitious dreams, but no actual fuel to take off. Other economies are busy upgrading their engines, while Cuba is still stuck at the "please wait while your documents are processing" stage. And we're not just talking about a slow internet connection. This is more like dial-up and waiting for a pizza delivery that never arrives.
What do you think about the idea that Cuba poses a national security threat as mentioned by Rubio?
Oh, sure. Because when I think of national security threats, I absolutely visualize Cuba, with its vintage cars and super strong coffee, standing in line right next to North Korea and the Bermuda Triangle. It's as if they're trying to outdo each other in the "who's got the least effective government" contest. I can just picture it, a security alert, and it's just Cuba's government fumbling through a checklist while forgetting where they put the remote for the nuclear missiles.
What do you make of the assertion that the current situation in Cuba is unsustainable?
I mean, of course, it's unsustainable. It's like trying to run a marathon with a pair of flip-flops on a muddy track. You look at the situation and just shake your head. It's comically tragic. Their economy is like a soap opera that's been renewed for way too many seasons. You know it should have ended, but here we are, awkwardly clapping as the actors struggle to remember their lines for the next episode.
Do you think Rubio's comments will change anything for Cuba?
Well, if words could change things, we'd all be living in a utopia with chocolate rivers and unlimited pizza. Rubio's remarks are like throwing pebbles into a deep ocean. It makes some ripples, but good luck seeing any waves come crashing ashore. Unless he's got a secret plan to send in rescue llamas or something, I wouldn't hold my breath. It's about as likely to spark change as me convincing my cat to adopt a dog.
Finally, what do you think will be the international reaction to this declaration?
Oh, it's going to be classic. Picture a bunch of international leaders reading Rubio's declaration while sipping their coffees, nodding like they just learned a new vocabulary word. There will be a few tut-tuts and some ineffective diplomatic hand-wringing, followed by the equivalent of a collective shrug. It's like watching a soap opera where everyone knows the plot and is just waiting to see who breaks into song next. Spoiler alert, it's probably not going to be Cuba.
So, we just heard that ambassadors from Russia, Belarus, Armenia, and Kazakhstan joined forces for a heartfelt tribute at historic memorials. What's the scoop on that?
Well, it seems like the ambassadors decided to have a little group therapy session at the historic sites of Vietnam. Nothing says we're all friends like laying wreaths together, right? It's like a global version of a family reunion, with less awkward small talk and more solemnity. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want to bond over the shared experience of remembering courageous heroes? If only they brought cookies, it would have been an all-out international potluck.
How significant do you think these memorials are in today's context?
Oh, they're about as significant as a well-timed punchline in a comedy show. You see, these memorials serve as a reminder that history is like that clingy ex we can't quite shake off. It keeps coming back to haunt us, but in a strangely comforting way. Each wreath laid is like a soap opera recap. Remember when we fought valiantly and didn't just scroll through memes on our phones? It's a reminder that some battles weren't fought with hashtags, but with sheer will. And these ambassadors? They're just trying to show they remember the good old days. You know, when war was fought on the battlefield, not in comments sections.
What do you think motivated the ambassadors to come together for this event?
Well, I'd like to think it's a combination of camaraderie and, let's face it, a slight touch of competitive spirit. It's like a game of who can be the most diplomatic, with bonus points for showing up at a memorial. Maybe they all agreed that a group outing would be a better idea than sitting around sending each other awkward emails. I mean, who wouldn't want to engage in a little flower-laying choreography? It's not every day you get to wear a tie, stand in front of a crowd, and pretend you're really into floral arrangements while trying not to step on someone's foot.
How does this tribute reflect on international relations today?
Oh, it's a reflection, all right. Think of it as an episode of a political soap opera where everyone tries to keep the peace while simultaneously plotting their next move. This tribute shows that, despite the chaos of modern politics, there's a tiny oasis of respect and remembrance. It's like a warm hug in the middle of a fight at a family dinner. Sure, they might all have different agendas, but at that moment, they were united in their love for history. And apparently, for floral design too. It's hard to throw shade when you're all busy trying to look dignified in front of the cameras.
What do you think is the public's reaction to such events?
Oh, it's a mixed bag, like a box of chocolates where some pieces are filled with joy and others, well, let's just say they resemble the taste of regret. You've got the history buffs, who are all in for the nostalgia, and the younger folks, who are probably just wondering when the snack break happens. While some people cheer for these diplomatic display cases, others are likely rolling their eyes and thinking, great, more flowers. Can we get some pizza next time? It's a delicate balancing act between reverence and the desire to swipe left on ancient conflicts.
Lastly, do you think this kind of event could lead to more collaborations in the future?
Well, if laying flowers could solve world problems, we'd all be sitting on a beach in Hawaii right now, sipping coconut water. But in reality, while such gestures can indeed pave the way for more friendly collaborations, let's not kid ourselves. It's like when your neighbor offers you a cup of sugar, but secretly wishes you'd never borrow their lawnmower again. Collaboration might happen, and it might not. But hey, at least they've got the wreath laying down to an art form. Who knows? Maybe next year, they'll step it up with a musical tribute, or at least a dance-off.
So, tell us about the recent statement by Vietnam's deputy minister regarding the Immortal Regiment and its legacy for future generations.
Ah, yes. The deputy minister is basically saying that we should all put down our smartphones for a second and remember that history isn't just a dusty old book. It's more like that grumpy uncle at Thanksgiving who won't stop telling the same stories over and over again. The Immortal Regiment isn't just about marching in cool uniforms. It's a reminder that freedom and peace didn't just magically fall from the sky like confetti at a New Year's party. It's a call to tell our kids they can't just add history to their Instagram stories. They need to actually understand it. Otherwise, they might think the past is just a series of memes.
What do you think is the relevance of these traditional events in today's fast-paced world?
Oh, in today's world, where we can watch cat videos at the speed of light, traditional events like the Immortal Regiment are like trying to make a sundae with a side of nostalgia rather than a milkshake. They remind us that history isn't just a funny tweet or a TikTok dance challenge. It's the foundation on which we build our future. If we forget those who paved the way, we might end up like a bunch of headless chickens running around, not knowing why we even have roads to run on in the first place. Plus, who doesn't enjoy a good parade? It's like watching a live-action history channel, where everyone is dressed for a fashion disaster.
How do young people perceive these traditional practices amidst modern influences?
Well, young people today are like those hybrid cars, part nostalgia, part speed. They want all the hype of modernity, but also a sprinkle of old school to feel grounded. It's like mixing avocado toast with a side of grandma's potato salad. Confusing but strangely satisfying. They might scroll through their feeds thinking history is cool, but let's be real. If it doesn't come with a filter and a catchy hashtag, it might as well be ancient Greek to them. So, traditional practices need to be wrapped in a shiny, relatable package, perhaps even with a catchy TikTok dance to go along with it.
What are the consequences of forgetting about historical legacy?
Forgetting historical legacy is like trying to bake a cake without flour. Good luck with that. If we ignore our past, we might find ourselves making the same mistakes as our ancestors, which is about as fun as stepping on a Lego in the dark. History teaches us lessons, often in a way that's way too dramatic for our liking. It's like watching a reality show where everyone keeps getting voted off the island for not knowing how to build a shelter. Without understanding what happened before, we could easily end up with a generation that thinks voting is just a fun game of musical chairs in a preschool.
How can these events help instill values of freedom and peace in the younger generation?
Oh, nothing screams value of freedom, quite like a parade where people don shiny medals and carry pictures of their ancestors while trying not to trip over their own feet. These events serve as a living classroom, teaching young people that freedom isn't just a word you slap on a poster. It's the result of a lot of hard work and sacrifices. Sweat and tears, people. It's like getting a diploma. You can't just show up on graduation day, thinking you'll get it without actually studying. So, when these kids see the faces of those who fought for freedom, they realize it's not a fairy tale. They could be the next generation of heroes, as long as they can remember to look up from their screens once in a while.
What role does storytelling play in keeping history alive?
Storytelling is like the Wi-Fi of history. It keeps everyone connected. It's the age-old science of taking dusty facts and turning them into something you can binge-watch over a weekend. When we share stories about our past, it's like adding a little seasoning to a bland dish. It makes everything a lot more palatable. If history is just a series of dates and events, it's as exciting as watching paint dry. But when we weave tales of courage, sacrifice, and even a little drama, we're not just preserving history, we're making it relevant. Think of it as history's version of a blockbuster movie, with all the action and none of the ticket prices.
So, there's news about Israeli bulldozers blocking access to a West Bank town. Can you give us a rundown on what's happening?
The classic bulldozer blockade. It's like a really aggressive game of musical chairs, except instead of chairs it's bulldozers, and instead of music, it's the sound of hopes being crushed. Reports say that all access to Termus Aya has been blocked off, which must be a real blast for the locals trying to shop for groceries or, live their lives. I mean, who doesn't enjoy a good earth-moving vehicle ruining their day, right? It's like the universe decided to throw a surprise party, but forgot to invite the people living there.
What can you tell us about the military operations in the Ramallah area?
Well, it appears that military operations in Ramallah are about as subtle as a hippo in a tutu. With all the drama and theatrics, it's no wonder that every month or so, local reports bring out a new headline. Last month, it was a large-scale arrest operation in Al-Mughayr, which sounds like a fancy way of saying they were playing hide-and-seek, but with no one wanting to be found. It's like the military's on some sort of never-ending quest to collect all the badges in their Operation Overboard sticker album. Who knew they had a thing for adventure?
What does blocking access and ongoing military actions mean for the residents?
Oh, it's just an absolute delight, I'm sure. Blocking access usually means that the locals are treated to a not-so-fun game of how to survive without basic supplies. It's like a survival reality show, but unfortunately, there's no $1 million prize at the end, just more barricades and less food. The ongoing military actions must feel like living under a permanent "do not disturb" sign. But instead of relaxation, it's more anxiety, lack of sleep, and a very real sense of uncertainty. Who needs peace and quiet when you can have constant chaos, right?
Are there any potential implications of these actions in the broader context of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict?
Oh, absolutely. It's like throwing a lit match into a fireworks factory. Blocking access and ramping up military operations is sure to light the fuse on tensions that are already running hotter than a jalapeno in a sauna. It could lead to further escalations, protests, and perhaps even more bulldozers. Because, let's face it, bulldozers are apparently the Swiss Army knives of military operations these days. You never know when you need to block a road or demolish a vibe.
What do you think can be done to address the situation?
Addressing this situation seems about as easy as teaching a cat to fetch. There's no straightforward solution, and you usually end up with more scratching than fetching. Diplomacy might be a good start, but it's as effective as using a sieve to carry water. Every time they sit down to talk, it seems like a chair-swapping contest, where nobody really wants to stay in one place long enough to get comfortable. It's like trying to find common ground at a family reunion where everyone has different ideas of what normal looks like.
Final thoughts on how the world is reacting to these events.
The world's reaction. It's about as predictable as a soap opera plot twist. Some might call for peace and negotiations, while others will roll their eyes and scroll through social media like it's a pop quiz they didn't study for. There's always a mix of outrage, apathy, and someone back at home asking, "Do we have snacks?" It's like a global buffet where everyone brings their own dish, but nobody wants to share. So, let's grab the popcorn and stay tuned, because the drama is certainly not over yet.
So, the news from Dnepropetrovsk says, the strikes have caused catastrophic fires. Really bad stuff. What are your thoughts on this escalation in Ukraine?
Well, first off, I always thought Dnepropetrovsk was just a fancy way of saying, let's ignite some drama, but turns out it's actually setting things on fire. In the worst way possible. I mean, who knew a war could be such a hot mess, literally? It's like watching a really bad reality show where the only prize is destruction. If this were a cooking show, we'd definitely be serving up some charred remains and smoke signals instead of gourmet meals. And let's be honest, can we please get a break? I didn't sign up for Flames of Fury, the Ukraine edition. Someone call the fire department, or at least a good insurance agent.
With fires intensifying in Ukraine, how do you think the international community should respond to this crisis?
Oh, you mean the international community? You know, the group that always shows up late to the party with a box of cheap pizza while the real feast is happening? Look, if they could just take a break from discussing climate change over overpriced lattes and actually send some aid, we might have a shot at putting out these flames. It's like a group project where everyone's standing around arguing about who should bring what, while the whole house is burning down. Maybe we need to send them a memo saying, "Hey folks, water beats hot air any day, especially in an actual crisis."
How do you see the local population reacting to these ongoing conflicts and the fires?
It's hard to imagine how anyone could stay calm while their neighborhood is auditioning for the role of a Burning Man festival gone wrong. I mean, if you thought the greatest hits of 2023 were going to be a relaxing staycation surprise, residents are now navigating their way through smoke like it's some sort of dystopian theme park. I can picture them saying, "Oh look, another fire. Just what I wanted for my Instagram feed." The resilience of people in such dire situations is incredible, but it shouldn't be a contest of who can stand the heat longer. I don't know about you, but I'd rather take my chances with a yoga retreat.
What does this mean for the future of Ukraine and its people?
Yes, predicting the future of Ukraine is a bit like trying to guess the ending of a soap opera. It just keeps getting crazier. This is like watching a never-ending sequel to an action film that no one asked for, starring locals who never signed up for this blockbuster. The narrative seems to be moving from "we've got this" to "let's just keep our heads down and hope for a plot twist where no one gets burned." If we're lucky, we might just get a happily ever after, ending with some much-needed peace, but for now, it's all about dodging conflict, like it's a game of dodgeball, where the only ball is an artillery shell.
In light of these events, how do you think media coverage can impact public perception?
Oh, media coverage, the ultimate hype machine. It's like a spotlight at a concert that keeps shining on the wildest guitarist, while the rest of the band is left in the shadows. The way the media plays up these situations can sometimes make it seem like they're more interested in the drama than the actual human suffering. It's like watching a thriller movie where they forget to include the good guys and only showcase the fiery mayhem. You know? Because who needs a little compassion when you can have ratings? So, the public perception? Let's just say it might be trending toward plush seats for the disaster show, rather than let's help our neighbors.
What's your advice for listeners on how to stay informed without feeling overwhelmed by such dire news?
Ah, the age-old question of how to swim in this ocean of chaos without drowning. My advice? Think of it like eating a giant cake. You can't just shove the whole thing in your face at once, or you'll end up feeling sick as a dog. Instead, take small bites. Pick reliable sources, follow the news like it's a soap opera with a little less melodrama, and balance it with some light-hearted entertainment. Maybe throw in a cat video or two, because nothing says I'm informed quite like watching a cat fail at jumping. Remember, it's okay to care, but don't let the news turn you into a permanent resident of Panicville.
Finally, any closing thoughts on the situation in Dnipropetrovsk that you'd like to share?
Well, here's a thought to chew on. It's easy to feel hopeless in the face of such adversity, but let's all remember that every storm eventually passes, hopefully without leaving too much smoke behind. It's like the universe decided to throw a surprise barbecue and didn't bother to invite anyone. So, let's keep our fingers crossed for some much-needed rain, and hope that maybe, just maybe, we can turn this fiery fiasco into a story of resilience and hope. Because if we can't find a silver lining in this cloud of chaos, we might as well just start building our own little rescue submarines for the upcoming climate crisis.
So, Hezbollah has launched drone strikes on an Israeli military base. That's quite a shocking escalation, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't love a good old-fashioned game of military chess with drones as the knights? It's like they're trying to turn the Middle East into a live-action version of a video game where the stakes are very real, and the players are mostly just looking for a power-up. I can just imagine the drone pilot in a bunker somewhere, yelling, "It's just like Call of Duty, but with more real-life consequences." Really, who knew that aerial warfare had such a flair for the dramatic?
What are the implications of this military action for the region?
Ah, implications. That's the buzzword, isn't it? It's like when your friend tries to explain how a simple dinner party turned into a full-blown family feud. In the region, this kind of escalation might just be the spark that ignites the proverbial haystack, not to mention the already complex, simmering pot of geopolitical stew. You've got Israel, Hezbollah, and now drones involved. It's like a complicated love triangle, except one side has missiles and the other side has tanks. Buckle up, folks.
What do you think the response from Israel will be?
Well, given Israel's knack for responding with the grace of a rhinoceros in a china shop, I'd say they're likely to react with something that makes a loud bang. It's like watching a game of whack-a-mole where the moles are actually military assets. Pop up a drone, bang, down it goes. Expect some retaliatory strikes that scream, "We're not gonna take this lying down," while the rest of the world grabs popcorn. It's a classic case of, they hit us, we hit back harder, which is just great for keeping the drama alive.
What do you think this means for international relations in the area?
Ah, international relations. The soap opera no one asked for, but everyone seems to be glued to. This is like adding a plot twist that nobody saw coming, right? You know? Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the diplomatic waters, Hezbollah drops the drone bombshell. Countries are likely to start picking sides like kids on a playground, with the US shouting, "Let's play," while others might just stand by and munch on popcorn, watching the chaos unfold. So, in short, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride of shifting alliances and shattered peace treaties.
How does the use of drones change the nature of such conflicts?
Oh, it's a game changer, isn't it? It's like swapping out your old school flip phone for the latest smartphone. Drones bring a level of precision that makes laser pointers look like they're trying their best. Now, instead of soldiers engaging in face-to-face warfare, we have flying robots doing the heavy lifting, while the pilots sip coffee back home. It's warfare with a side of convenience. Hey, can you pass me the remote? Oh wait, I'm busy launching a drone strike. It's like we've reached the Netflix and bomb level of combat.
What should we expect in the coming days?
Oh, expect the unexpected, my friend. If the past is any indicator, we'll likely see a flurry of news alerts popping up like daisies in spring. There will be condemnations, strategic meetings, and probably a few press conferences where politicians fumble through their notes like a high school student during a pop quiz. And let's not forget social media. Get ready for an explosion of memes, hashtags, and everyone's hot takes, as if they're all geopolitical experts. Honestly, it's like waiting for the next season of your favorite series. You're not sure how it's going to end, but you're definitely not going to miss it.